cover story is brought to you by JTA Credit Union, serving our members, impacting lives positively.
Multilink, roll with control. Use Multilink, save fast and
Starting a renovation project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for all your essentials at our 10 stores island-wide. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Crisp and refreshing. Room temperature or chilled. A Pure Water would drink. The temperature by Pure Water is...
It's 32 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 31 in Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Robian Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
In Nationwide News at this hour, the JLP is urging the proprietors of SSL to pay back investors, including Sprint icon Usain Bolt.
We are of the view that the proprietors of SSL have a moral obligation to ensure those who were fleeced are given back every dollar via the process of restitution.
TAJ working to fix the issues preventing pensioners from applying for the $20,000 reverse tax credit.
Spokesperson on citizen security Peter Bunting condemns this morning's deadly shooting at the Mandeville Market.
Lawyers lament the appalling conditions of courts across the country.
Last term, we had no bathrooms. You go there, the toilet's not flushing, the bathroom smells terrible.
Slain soldier E.J. Domville remembered as loving, respectful, loyal, and determined.
In news from the rest of the world, Haitian gang attacks leave at least 70 people, including 3 infants, dead.
Biden says he doesn't know whether Israel is holding up peace deal to influence 2024 U.S. election.
In headline sports, a former England under-21 star defender has been called up to join the Jamaica national senior football team.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, vendors at the Lucy Market in Hanover are reeling from a devastating loss as a massive fire destroyed 22 shops and damaged 6 others early Friday morning. We'll hear from the MP for Western Hanover, Tamika Davis, and 2 vendors.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, who make the best bread? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide90FM.
At 7, crime in Trinidad and Tobago is on the rise, with murder figures surpassing those over the previous 5 years. Senior reporter at CNC3 News in TNT, Ryan Beichu, will join us.
And at 8, it's the A-Team with Dennis Brooks.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, nationwideradiojm.com, and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. This Friday afternoon, Friday, October 4, 2024.
News at 5 is brought to you by Fostrich Company Limited, fostering rich customer service.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. The governing Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, is urging the proprietors at Stocks and Securities Limited, SSL, to ensure that Jamaicans, including the legendary Usain Bolt, are restored with funds they invested in the embattled private sector entity. The JLP made the call in a statement to the media on Friday. The JLP is also chastising PNP operatives who it says have been attempting to use false propaganda to connect the government to wrongdoing at SSL. Mahiri Stewart reports.
The JLP says it notes that some investors at SSL have received restitution. However, the party says it's deeply concerned that Usain Bolt and several investors have not yet gotten back funds. The JLP insists that these individuals, including the iconic Jamaican track star, get back every dollar they invested in SSL. JLP Deputy General Secretary, Senator Charles Sinclair, says the party notes that an individual who was employed by SSL and reportedly confessed to stealing funds has been charged and is before the court. But Mr. Sinclair says more needs to be done.
We make no comment concerning guilt or innocence of any individual connected to SSL. That's a matter for the court. But we are of the view that the proprietors of SSL have a moral obligation to ensure those who were fleeced, including the iconic Usain Bolt, are given back every dollar via the process of restitution. We also condemn the PNP operatives, including elected officials who have been using social media to tell blatant lies in a bid to falsely and without any credible basis seek to connect the government of Jamaica to wrongdoing at SSL.
Mr. Sinclair also blasted what he described as PNP members, including a councillor who he says has been lying on social media and suggesting that Prime Minister Andrew Holness is culpable of wrongdoing at SSL. The attorney at law says the fact is, the Prime Minister had an investment in SSL from 2008, which matured several years later. He notes that the investment belonged to the Prime Minister and is in no way, shape, or form connected to wrongdoing at SSL. Mr. Sinclair concluded his statement by cautioning members of the PNP from spreading fake news about the SSL issue. Major controversy hit SSL in January 2023, when it was revealed that scores of investments could not be accounted for and an agent at the entity had confessed to stealing client funds. The agent, Jean-Ann Panton, has since been arrested and charged with multiple financial crimes. Panton remains in police custody. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News. Lawyers are raising alarm over the appalling conditions of courts island-wide, highlighting deterioration of facilities. From failing infrastructure to the lack of basic amenities like bathrooms and parking spaces, the situation is becoming unbearable for legal professionals and the public alike. Calls for urgent intervention have increased, as many argue that these conditions are hindering the administration of justice and eroding the dignity of the court system. Robian Williams reports.
Earlier this week, court clerks at the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court staged a 2-day sick-out to protest poor working conditions. Among their concerns is poor air quality, which had forced them out of their original office in 2023. The clerks say these conditions have impacted operations at the court. Leading the call for improvements to the courts across the country is King's Counsel Valerie Nita Robertson. She recently highlighted the need for improvements to ensure a more efficient justice system.
Very frustrating. We're here at the Supreme Court. You know, last term, we had no bathrooms either. You go there, the toilet's not flushing, the bathroom smells terrible. You try and get on with the work by using the staff's bathroom, and then the staff start to lock the doors. It's frustrating. We have to do better, and we can do better.
Deputy Chairman of the Criminal Bar Committee of the Jamaica Bar Association, Saeed Bernard, has also weighed in. He noted that court buildings are in urgent need of infrastructure development.
There needs to be a review as it relates to the derelict buildings where there is a grave lack of suitable fixtures. And then there needs to also be some improvement in the lack of maintenance and government red tape, frankly speaking, as it relates to maintaining even the newer infrastructure where courts are concerned. Handling justice is one thing, but having the amenities and the infrastructure so to do is another. And so that needs to be dealt with as it relates to old derelict buildings that need to be fixed, temporary situations that have become permanent, for example, the Mandeville Court being on a plaza.
Bernard further detailed the long list of issues plaguing the courts across the country.
The Mandeville Court, that sits on a plaza, a very tiny court space, and does not offer good bathroom amenities. And then you're looking at courts like Linstead, Black River, same situation, no bathrooms whatsoever. In fact, council has said that in order to use the Linstead bathroom, they have to go and find a public bathroom to use. That cannot be good. Now, at several of these parish courts, there's also no rooms as it relates to intervening clients. And then when you look at the fact that many persons, when it's their day for court, they're standing up outside in the sun, sometimes in the rain, waiting for their names to be called before they can enter the courthouse. No suitable sitting area, no suitable waiting area.
And attorney Shamar Hanson further highlights ongoing maintenance issues and parking challenges that must be addressed.
The need for consistent water supply in the bathrooms and many of the facilities that are necessary for the proper functioning of the court's operation are consistently hampered and not given much attention. You'll find that attorneys and litigants alike, depending on where you go, you won't have access to parking or dedicated parking spaces. A lot of the times, you'll have to seek parking over by nearby plazas, which in and of itself poses a challenge, as those businesses would reserve parking exclusively for their customers.
Robianne Williams for Nationwide News.
Mayor of Mandeville Donovan Mitchell is urging anyone with information that can aid the police in their investigation of Friday's shooting at the Mandeville Market to come forward. Gunmen opened fire at vendors at the back entrance to the market at about 10:15 a.m. The incident left a man and a woman shot dead and at least 4 others injured.
Just to say to the police, whatever you know, speak, because the next person might be you, because the young lady was just in the market doing her own business. One of the gentlemen was across the road in a syrup shop buying something else, and so it could have been any one of us. So let us be careful, speak what we know. We don't have to be an informer, as some people would put it. But the best thing to do is to try to avoid all of these by just speaking what we know so the police investigations can move forward.
The latest murders have pushed the number of people killed in Manchester to 40 since the start of the year. Mayor Mitchell says the Manchester Municipal Corporation stands ready to assist the grieving families.
Engaged in the thing, but to say to them that we from the Manchester Municipal Corporation will be there with them to give advice, to assist where possible, because it happens on the plant. I just want to say that I have advised the minister who is off the island as to what happened. I also advised the permanent secretary in the ministry, so they too are aware of the situation.
Donovan Mitchell, Mayor of Mandeville.
Meanwhile, opposition spokesperson on citizen security Peter Bunting is condemning Friday morning's shooting at the Mandeville Market that left 2 people dead and several others injured. In a statement on Friday, Mr. Bunting says the shooting highlights the ongoing threat of violent crime plaguing communities across the country. The opposition spokesman says the incidents of violent crime in Manchester have been increasing in recent months. Senator Bunting called on the Ministry of National Security and the High Command to increase the personnel and other resources assigned to the division before the parish loses its image as one of the most peaceful in the island.
This morning's incident at 10 a.m. in the town centre, only a couple hundred yards from the Mandeville police station, demonstrates the level of impunity with which criminals think they can operate in the parish capital. My deepest condolences go out to the families of those who lost their lives, and I wish a swift recovery to those injured in this horrific incident. No Jamaican should have to live in fear of violence, whether they are at work, at home, or in public spaces. We must urgently strengthen our efforts to bring an end to the bloodshed and restore safety to our towns and cities.
Peter Bunting, opposition spokesperson on citizen security and productivity. He's expressing condolences to the families of the man and woman who lost their lives. Mr. Bunting is also wishing a swift recovery to those injured in the incident.
In the meantime, local government minister Desmond McKenzie has condemned the shooting at the Mandeville Market. In a statement on Friday afternoon, Minister McKenzie strongly denounced the incident, saying there is no justification for this disgraceful and savage act. He has also expressed condolences to the families of the persons who were killed and wished a speedy recovery to those who were injured. The minister has urged the Manchester police to do everything possible as quickly as possible to arrest the perpetrators and place them before the courts. Minister McKenzie also sought to assure vendors, shoppers, and commuters of the market that measures will be implemented to ensure their safety and peace of mind.
And Minister McKenzie says help is on the way for affected vendors of the Lucy Market in Hanover, which caught fire early Friday morning. The blaze destroyed 23 market stalls. 5 others were also damaged. At least one vendor says she lost everything.
Every everything. The man put stay in there. They see me do one big shopping for me shop. And he have his money in there. He have my money and me say, alright, today, you know, stock up a shop for me Friday to make a money, sir. Everything. Every day always busy. Man, tell me last big time, you know. You know, what me I go do now? What me fi turn to? What me I go do? Me and my partner here. Me have a business here. What me I go do? What me I go do? Feel it to me heart, man. See like good and trap. Nobody drop down Antibes. Nobody. Antibes nobody drop down.
The fire was first reported at 3:51 a.m. and units from the Negril and Montego Bay fire stations responded to the blaze. 2 hours later, it was brought under control. Minister Mackenzie says an initial assessment of the damage revealed that one firefighter was hospitalized after receiving injuries from the fire. The minister noted that every effort will be made to restore the market as vendors recover. He says, with Christmas being less than 3 months away, the rebuilding process will be expedited. Minister Mackenzie says the process of assessing structural damage will also begin immediately. You're listening to Nationwide at 5. More news after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is
16 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial is the expert in pest control, air purification, and hygiene services. Call today 876-926-4236.
The temperature by Rentokil is...
It's 32 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 31 in Montego Bay.
Imagine opening a bank account without ever leaving your home. Well, at CIBC Caribbean, we've changed the game. Open a new CIBC savings or checking account completely online using your computer or phone, anywhere, anytime. No need to visit the bank, no waiting in line. Just apply, verify, and sign your documents, all online. It's secure, seamless, and 100% digital. Open your new CIBC account by applying online today.
Continuing the news. Loving, respectful, loyal, and determined. That's how the late Private E.J. Domville was described in his eulogy read by his aunt Markeisha during his funeral service on Friday. The 21-year-old soldier was fatally shot in Denham Town in August. Private Domville's funeral service was held at the Duhaney Park Gospel Assembly in Kingston. E.J.'s aunt says even in grief, his family continues to hold on to their happy memories of him.
We cannot ignore the painful circumstances of E.J.'s passing. His death was sudden, unexpected, and heartbreaking. Our hearts are heavy with grief, but even in the midst of tragedy, we find solace in the memories, laughter, and love we shared with him and the impact he had on all of us. E.J. had a contagious smile, an infectious laugh, and a heart full of kindness. Music and dancing had a special place in his heart, but nothing could compare to the love he had for his mother. She was everything to him. If you had to describe him in 4 words, it would be loving, respectful, loyal, and determined.
She says becoming a soldier was E.J.'s childhood dream.
E.J. had a zest for life that drove him to explore new experiences, pursue his dreams, and chase his goals. In 2022, with hope in his heart, he signed up to become a soldier, a childhood dream that came to realization and one of his proudest moments when he graduated in February of this year. He would often tell his mother, "Mommy, make sure you're all right." And as any caring mother would, she encouraged him to put himself first. But he was adamant that he was going to make things right for her. A selfless act, but that's the kind of person he was.
Markeisha Massey, aunt of E.J. Domville.
The Tax Administration of Jamaica, TAJ, says it's working to address potential issues being faced by government pensioners when attempting to apply for the $20,000 reverse tax credit. The reverse tax credit was launched this Wednesday. However, since its launch, the online platform designed to facilitate applications has been plagued with glitches for many individuals. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
On Wednesday, Chief Technical and Dispute Resolution Advisor at TAJ, Bevon Sinclair, sought to assure pensioners that they would be able to apply for the $20,000 grant.
Employed persons within the government sector, once they meet the requirement of earning under $3 million as their total taxable pay or statutory income, then you are eligible to apply. And one of the reasons why we had extended the deadline for the SO2 returns to come in is to facilitate more government agencies to file their returns in order to facilitate their employees. So both pensioners and also employed persons within the public sector can benefit. You just need to go on the website and make your application.
However, subsequent to that assurance being given, many pensioners were told by the online system that they were not eligible for the give back. On Friday, Mr. Sinclair says they've since been made aware of issues regarding government pensioners.
Well, generally it is dependent on where you're working. If you were working with a government agency, then you would be considered a public sector pensioner. But if you are working in a private institution or a private company, then you would be classified as a person in the private sector. We have been getting some complaints, but only in relation to public sector pensioners. And so we are in dialogue with the Accountant General, who would be the entity that pays pensioners that are would have been employed to government agencies and departments.
Mr. Sinclair hopes to have a more definitive answer by Monday. The TAJ advisor says they're also working through other issues to enable Scotiabank accounts as a potential destination for payouts. He says at the moment, certain security arrangements between the bank and government must be finalized.
So we are working through the contractual arrangement with Scotia City, and the reason for that is because they have to liaise with their international head office for certain security features can be finalized. So that's where we are at with that contractual arrangement. We are working through the security request by Scotiabank, and so we expect that sometime next week we should be able to resolve. Once our partner, eGov, will be able to satisfy the security request that is made by Scotiabank.
Meanwhile, TAJ says it is continuing to work on a fix to the challenge faced by some applicants who are still not able to select SMS notifications on the website. As at 3 p.m., almost 168,000 applications have been submitted. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
At least 70 people, including children, have been killed after an armed gang attacked a small town in Haiti. It's one of the biggest massacres in Haiti's central region in recent years. Video footage shows groups of people fleeing the violence on motorbikes and on foot. It's reported that 10 women and 3 infants were among those killed. At least 16 others were seriously injured, including 2 gang members who were hit during an exchange with the police. The UN Human Rights Office said gang members reportedly set fire to at least 45 homes and 34 cars. Rumors of an attack had circulated for about 2 months throughout the town, which gang members approached using canoes.
U.S. President Joe Biden says he doesn't know whether Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu was holding up a Mideast peace deal in order to influence the outcome of the 2024 U.S. presidential election. Biden made the comment during a surprise appearance in the White House press briefing room on Friday. President Biden asserted that no administration has helped Israel more than the U.S. Biden says he's concerned Netanyahu had little interest in a peace deal because of U.S. politics.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, the JLP is urging the proprietors of SSL to pay back investors, including Sprint icon Usain Bolt.
Lawyers lament the appalling conditions of courts across the country.
Spokesperson on citizen security Peter Bunting condemns this morning's deadly shooting at the Mandeville Market.
Slain soldier E.J. Domville remembered as loving, respectful, loyal and determined.
I'm Robeanne Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
News at 5 was brought to you by Fosrich Company Limited, fostering rich customer service.
Tie your laces, put on something purple, and support the CIBC Caribbean Walk for the Cure. Join us at Hope Gardens on Sunday, October 6th at 6 a.m. We're walking, running, and moving in the fight against cancer. Sign up today at runningeventsja.com. Registration fee $3,000 includes your Walk for the Cure t-shirt while supplies last. CIBC Walk for the Cure, Sunday, October 6th, 6 a.m. at Hope Gardens. All proceeds in aid of the Jamaica Cancer Society.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Former England under-21 star Mason Holgate has been called up to the Jamaica squad for the October cycle of the CONCACAF Nations League Series. Holgate, who will turn 27 years old in 3 weeks' time, currently plays for Championship side West Bromwich Albion on loan from Premiership team Everton. The defender is the only newcomer to the 23-man squad, which is missing a few first-team regulars, including Leon Bailey, Shamar Nicholson, and Michael Hector. However, there are recalls for former Jamaica College star Tyreek McGee, Romario Williams, and Ronaldo Cephas. Head coach Stephen McLaren says he has never seen McGee play in the flesh, but having watched several video clips of the midfielder, the Englishman says he's excited to see what he brings to the national team.
After seeing quite a bit of him, but only on video, on games, but hearing about his reputation, the kind of player he is. You know, I talked before about the three types of groups you need within a squad. You need a leadership group. You need the warriors who will do the hard work, but you need the talent to win games. And I think Tyreek McGee falls into that talent. He's got the ability to change a game. So, you know, when I'm looking at people finishing games, making impact, coming on and winning a game, keeping a game, Tyreek can be one of them players.
Jamaica will face Nicaragua away on Thursday, October 10, before hosting Honduras in Kingston 4 nights later on October 14 at the National Stadium. The game in Managua is expected to be played on a synthetic surface, so will the Jamaica coaching staff be using the artificial surface at the Captain Horace Burrell Centre as preparation?
It's a short period of time, and we're going to assess that and obviously look at that. But we're definitely training in Nicaragua on the pitch. So we're looking at that. We might do, but as you say, you know, the process is a process. And I've got to say, the fields that the players are coming from, whether that's the MLS, USL or Premier League or Championship, UK, the surfaces are always perfect. But that's going to be, for me, the mentality of the players, how they deal with the synthetic turf, that's going to be key.
National senior football team coach Steve McLaren was speaking with Nationwide Sports during this morning's press conference to unveil the squad. French international Paul Pogba has had his 4-year drugs ban slashed to just 18 months by the Court of Arbitration for Sport. In a huge development that arrives as a significant victory for the midfielder, his original suspension that commenced on September 11, 2023 will end in 2025 March. Pogba was facing potential retirement from football had CAS upheld his 4-year suspension. However, the 31-year-old can start planning to restart his career. It is understood that CAS's ruling allows Pogba to recommence training in January next year. The former Manchester United midfielder was hit with the ban after featuring for Juventus in their opening game of the 2023-24 season against Udinese on August 20 in the Italian Serie A. In CAS's final judgment, it was confirmed that Pogba did inadvertently take DHEA, a substance that boosts testosterone that is on WADA's banned list. However, the ruling states that DHEA only has an effect on females. Pogba's appeal took place at CAS's headquarters in Switzerland at the end of August, and the player has only recently been informed of the verdict. Head coach of Jamaica's senior men's football team, that's Steve McLaren. Well, he had a good wishes for Cavalier after the Rudolph Speed coach side booked their spot in the semi-finals of the CFU Club Championship. Cavalier finished atop Group A following their 4-1 spanking of fellow Jamaican outfit Arnett Gardens at the National Stadium last night.
I'd like to congratulate the Cavaliers on reaching the semi-final of the Caribbean Cup. I was at the game last night. Another good performance. And well done to them. Hope they progress.
Steve McLaren, the other Jamaican team, Mount Pleasant Academy, who needed a victory to advance to the semi-finals, lost 2-0 to Real Hope of Haiti. Captain of the West Indies women's team, Hayley Matthews, says the entire team feels disappointed by their 10-wicket loss against South Africa in the opening game of the ICC T20 World Cup this morning in Dubai. Batting first, the West Indies made 118 for 6 of their 20 overs. Stefani Taylor, 44 not out, was the only batter to put up any resistance against Nkolo Eleko Mbala, 4 for 29, and Marizanne Kapp, 2 for 14. In response, the South Africans made 119 without loss. South Africa reached the target with 13 balls to spare, and Matthews says the team played below par in all aspects of the game.
Pretty disappointing game. Firstly, not scoring enough runs on the board, and we would have probably liked to have taken a few wickets and at least put up a bit more of a fight in the second innings. But yeah, with the game in 2 days' time, we're going to have to get things back together quickly and pick up the pieces and go again.
Yeah, and she says Dubai was very, very hot.
I'd have to say probably the hottest place I've ever played cricket or ever been on a whole. And I mean, that's someone coming from the West Indies. Yeah, definitely some difficult conditions, but we've been here for about 2 weeks now, thankfully. So we've been able to acclimatize as much as you possibly can to conditions like this. But yeah, thankfully we've got the rest of our games as night one, so not as much sun.
Yeah, the West Indies women's team captain Hayley Matthews and the Windies will be again in action on Sunday. That's against Scotland. And that game will bowl off at 9 o'clock here in Jamaica. A little cooler in Dubai. That should help them some, as she mentioned. And finally, in sports at this time, Cricket West Indies announced the squads for the eagerly anticipated West Indies Senior Men's T20 International and One-Day International Series against Sri Lanka. The teams are set to compete in 3 T20 Internationals and a similar number of One-Day Internationals, October 10 to 27. Now, after a resounding 3-0 series sweep against South Africa earlier this year, the West Indies, they've climbed the ranking, moving up to 4th place and establishing themselves as serious contenders on the global stage. Several senior players, including Nicholas Pooran, Andre Russell, Akeal Hussain and Shimron Hetmar, have opted out of the tour for personal reasons, opening the door for newer faces and returning players. Captain Rovman Powell will lead the side with Ruston Chase, his deputy, head coach Darren Sammy, who now leads on selection under the revamped selection system, noted the importance of the series in evaluating players for key roles and understanding the conditions ahead of future ICC tournaments. That's sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Since 2016, 156,000 more Jamaicans are working. This is more than any other time in our history. Your government is caring for you.
The time brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister is
5:32.
This is a public service announcement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The Ministry of Health and Wellness wishes to advise awardees of the Dr. Barrington Waint Memorial Scholarship Program that the deadline to complete their bonding agreement has been extended to Friday, October 18, 2024. Awardees who face challenges with meeting the requirements of their bonding agreement are encouraged to call the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service at 876-922-8600 or visit the office at 30 National Hero Circle, Kingston 4. They can also send an email to collet.mccausland@mof.gov.jm. That was a public service announcement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales.
They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Register for one of the premier events of the Chartered Accountants Week 2024, the ICAJ Business Conference. That's right, the conference is set for October 10, 2024 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel and online. This year's theme, Reimagining the Future, Integrity, Innovation and Impact, will provide business and accounting professionals with modern strategies for today's economy. Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online on Nationwide 90 FM from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for key discussions, insightful information on the role of AI in accounting and more. The broadcast will also feature exclusive interviews and a wealth of knowledge that will showcase ICAJ's leadership in shaping the future of accounting and finance in Jamaica. So, tune in to Cliff Hughes Online for this revolutionary experience on October 10 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The ICAJ Business Conference is back. Catch all the action at the Jamaica Pegasus online or tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Jamaica. Register for ICAJ Business Conference at www.icaj.com by October 4.
Not a mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all the schoolers who are taking them.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team. Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Good afternoon, listeners, viewers. It's 5:37 and welcome to this Friday edition of The Cover Story. I'm Siobhan Campbell.
And my name is Sanjay Lewis, and as Siobhan indicated, it's cover story time, and local government minister Desmond McKenzie says help is on the way for affected vendors of the Lucy Market in Hanover, which caught fire early Friday morning. The blaze destroyed 23 market stalls. 5 others were also damaged. The fire was first reported at 3:51 a.m., and units from the Negril and Montego Bay fire stations responded to the blaze.
2 hours later, it was brought under control, and at least one vendor says she's lost everything.
Everything. My goods stay in there. They see me do one big shopping for me shop. And he have his money in there. He have my money and me say, alright, today, you know, stock up a shop for me Friday to make a money, sir. Everything. Every day, always busy. Man, they tell me last big time, you know. You know, what me I go do now? What me fi turn to? What me I go do? Me and my partner here. Me and my business here. What me I go do? What me I go do? Feel it to me all, man. See like me that drop. Nobody drop down until there. Nobody. Until there, nobody drop down.
Vendor there at the Lucy Market. Minister McKenzie says an initial assessment of the damage revealed that one firefighter was hospitalized after receiving injuries from the fire. The minister noted that every effort will be made to restore the market as vendors recover.
And he says with Christmas being less than 3 months away, the rebuilding process will be expedited. Minister Mackenzie says the process of assessing structural damage will also begin immediately. And meanwhile, Member of Parliament for Western Hanover, Tamika Davis, says she is heartened that no lives were lost.
I am heartened. I am happy to know that there was no loss of life, because we know that sometimes they stay in the market, but no one was hurt, no one was injured, no one was killed, and for that we are grateful. I continue to spread the message of hope, because I really believe that from this we will rebound, we will rebuild, and we will come back stronger. Hanoverians, our shopkeepers, our vendors, they are resilient people, and I can say for my part as Member of Parliament, I am committed to working with these shop owners to come back stronger.
That's Tamika Davis. She's the Member of Parliament for Western Hanover. Well, she joins us now, as well as two other vendors from the Lucy Market. We have Vanessa Webster and Karen Kelly. Good afternoon, ladies.
Good afternoon to you and to your listeners. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir.
Let me start with you, MP. What is the situation on the ground now as at 5:40 this afternoon?
Well, I can tell you that it is a little different than it was at 7 or 8 this morning. I believe that the vendors are still in shock, as well as the community. I think it will take some longer time for the healing to begin.
And go ahead, Sanjay.
And from your standpoint, Vanessa, tell us, what do you sell in the market, and did you lose everything?
Yes, I sell everything, sir. Every little thing I sell: juice, snacks, bleach, soap powder, everything you can think of.
And you store your things in the market also, I would assume.
Also,
and did
yes,
you
I
lose
store
everything
my
from
stuff
that?
in the shop, yes, sir.
And how about you, Karen Kelly? What is your situation like as of this moment?
At this moment, I'm so devastated. I don't know what to do. I'm so depressed right now. I don't know where to turn right now.
I don't know. Go ahead, Sanjay.
No, I was just asking Karen the same. Did you lose everything, or is it that you stored some of your things at home?
This morning, I was awakened by a phone call about 4 o'clock. Said the shops was on fire. But Mr. Karen, it don't reach your shop as yet. I said, okay then, might be because fire station is there, it won't spread. Now after I get a call, I say, Karen, take your pressure pill. I said, pressure pill. I Karen, shouldn't know some travel with high blood pressure. I take the pill and say, call me, Karen, you reach down there? I said, no, I don't reach. He said, Karen, don't go down there as it. I said, why? He said, don't, if you not go already, not go yet. So you see, when me reach down there and look, man, I was so astonished. Before me reach down there, me take my pressure. I have the machine to take my pressure. My pressure was 190 odd over 113, and my heartbeat was 113 for minutes was my heartbeat. I said, my God, what is this? When I reach down there, I take a bus and I reach out there. When I reach out there and look, I wasn't looking towards that because I think it's on the back of the shop, then burn. When I look, I see pure zinc, nothing at all. I see firemen, they try to get busy and everybody pure smoke. Everything was disturbed. It was, man, I feel like I'd drop down. But me say, God, just hold me up. They can't drop down, you know. I'd go worse.
Do either of you ladies have a better understanding, I should say, at this point as to what might have caused the fire?
I don't know what caused the fire, sir. Until now, I don't know what caused that fire.
MP, any word from the fire brigade?
The fire brigade was there. About 4 fire brigade I went them to see this morning. 4.
MP
Davis? And MP Davis.
Okay, yes, thank you. You were asking, I'm sorry.
No, we're asking if you know if the authorities were able through preliminary assessment to say what would have caused the fire.
No, they are not yet at that point. When I spoke to the fire chief, what he advised was that they have certain leads that they are following. And it is still early days yet, but I suspect that in short order they'll have an update for us.
And what about assistance to the vendors? Because that's something that now will be paramount. What kind of support or assistance is being discussed to, help those individuals who have been devastated by this fire?
Well, I have already spoken to the Honorable Minister responsible for local government, Honorable Desmond McKenzie, and he has assured me that as early as tomorrow, a team from Kingston will be visiting to do further assessment. I've also spoken to the Honorable Colonel Charles Jr. from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, and we are set to discuss how and in what way we can give support to the vendors. So what is certain, that the ball has started to roll in relation to rebuilding, and it will be in stages. The assessments must come, and then it is on to the next phase, which is rebuilding and restocking.
Could you hold the line for us, ladies? We're up on a break.
Upgrade your kitchen and bathroom to the next level with Unique Living. They're the ultimate destination for all your kitchen and bathroom needs, from luxurious shower systems to exquisite faucets, vanities, sinks, toilets, closets, and more. They have it all. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call them at 876-755-3661. Elevate your space with Unique Living, where quality meets expectations.
There is a spark in each of us that ignites to serve you, and that's why we go above and beyond in our pursuit for service excellence. Join the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service on Wednesday, October 9, 2024 at the AC Hotel from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. for the At Your Service Expo. Admission is free. Come out in your numbers and experience customer service like never before. Visit over 20 booths, information sessions with the Ministry's divisions, departments, and agencies, live broadcasts, gifts, and more. Hosted by yours truly, Debbie Bissoon. Don't miss it. At Your Service Expo, Wednesday, October 9, 2024 at the AC Hotel. The Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, driven by service excellence. Visit www.mof.gov.jm for further details.
Tie your laces, put on something purple, and support the CIBC Caribbean Walk for the Cure. Join us at Hope Gardens on Sunday, October 6th at 6 a.m. We're walking, running, and moving in the fight against cancer. Sign up today at runningeventsja.com. Registration fee $3,000 includes your Walk for the Cure t-shirt while supplies last. CIBC Walk for the Cure, Sunday, October 6th, 6 a.m. at Hope Gardens. All proceeds in aid of the Jamaica Cancer Society.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers, to the cover story, where we are touching on this unfortunate incident where there's been a massive fire at the Lucy Market in Hanover, where several vendors have lost everything. We have with us a Member of Parliament for Western Hanover, that's Tamika Davis, as well as two vendors at the Lucy Market, Vanessa Webster and Karen Kelly. MP, I'd like to bring you in here. Is there any alternative arrangements for those vendors who may not have lost everything, or at least would like to get back to work in order to recoup what has already been lost?
I must say at this point, we have not yet had those discussions. But, I mean, if you were to see the damage, you would understand that it would be a difficult thing to do. I suspect that perhaps a meeting with the Hanover Municipal Corporation to see whether there are spaces available could yield some positive results. But at this point, at the moment that I'm speaking to you, those discussions have not yet been had. But certainly, I mean, that is in fact a good suggestion. I know that the place where the fire took place, at this point, we will be looking to, after the assessment and the cleanup. And I must say that the vendors, and if you could see me, I am sitting here with at least 7 of the vendors. And I can tell you that their attitude is just one of positivity. And I must commend them for that, because even whilst they are heartbroken and they are crying and they're tears, they are thinking about building back. And that's such a good thing. And I want to continue to encourage them. And what you just suggested is perhaps one of the ways that we can do this quickly.
Mm-hmm. And Vanessa, from where you sit, what kind of support would you want from the authorities as you look to rebuild?
Any kind we can get, sir. Any kind. I have kids to go to school. Any kind of help, I will appreciate it.
And you mentioned, Vanessa, that you have kids. Are you the main breadwinner for the family?
Yes, sir. For my kids, them.
And how many kids? Two. And for Karen, the same, talking to the authorities, what kind of support would you want to help with the rebuilding process?
Right now, you see, I'm a partner lady, you know. I show partner, daily partner, weekly partner. Me is a partner woman. And right now, I don't have nothing to do but pay my partner. Family to shop my juggle every day. I pay my partner my day, and I pay the partner. So I don't know what to do now, sir. So I don't know why you can give me, but no one something to help me. You go on.
And MP Davis, in that regard, the support that is to come to the vendors and the market, is it going to include any financial assistance to allow them to rebuild, or are you not aware of those plans yet?
Yes, the initial discussions with Minister Charles indicated that. As to how soon that will be, it will depend on how soon we can get our assessments done.
Right. And there's a much bigger matter, MP, regarding, and we have seen a number of markets that, have been destroyed over the last couple of years through fire. Is it time that there's a much bigger discussion about how, in whatever way, we can assist these vendors should this unfortunate thing happen again, to rebuild? Maybe a form of insurance or something, maybe through the ministry. Is that something that you think we should, as a government, the government should consider?
Indeed, I agree with you, because it is happening, far too frequently now. It must mean that we have to put things in place to one, see if we can lessen the occurrence in whatever way we can, and two, that in the event that it does occur, that there are plans in place to assist the vendors more readily. Whether it by way of insurance, as you suggested, the options are limitless. But certainly, I agree with you that we ought to be looking now at ways in which the vendors can feel secure, and that in the event of disaster, they are protected. I heard Karen just now with our partner and wanting the cash immediately. I don't think it appeases her any to hear that there are plans afoot to get her on her feet. She's talking about a quick fix, an immediate fix. And so we want to be in a position as government, and we are responding swiftly. As I said earlier, the minister did say by tomorrow morning the team will be here, and already Minister Charles has already sent for a list of the persons affected and in what way. So there is swift action, but certainly I understand you to be saying, though, that there should be a long-term plan for these vendors, and with that I agree.
And MP, prevention is often better than cure. And as Sanjay pointed out, there's been many instances of market fires. I think this wasn't even the first instance this year already. What are the arrangements in place in many of these markets in terms of fire prevention, and do those need to be more robust?
Well, the nature of fires is one that you can't predict, and in very many cases it's hard to prevent. When I spoke to the fire officer today, he said it could range from a person deliberately setting, it could be something, it could be electrical and so on. So I don't know that we yet have the power to say how we will prevent. We can take steps to lessen, but certainly there's always going to be that possibility, which is why I'm looking at how best can we treat with it if and when it does occur.
Mm-hmm. And I see a comment on our Facebook chat, and I'm going to put that one to Karen. And individuals are saying, what about an insurance policy separate from the government, and vendors probably, approaching insurance companies to see how, you can pay into, getting some form of insurance. Is that something, Karen, that if it's made available to you as a vendor, you'll be interested in? I'm sorry, Karen, you're breaking up. Karen?
Of course, I'll be I'm interested in insurance.
Yes.
Because if the shop did insurance, would I have something to get? I'm interested in insurance, sir. Really.
And you would be willing to, because it would be something you'd have to pay in over time. You'd be willing to do that?
To pay, repeat.
It would be essentially a scheme that you might have to pay in, even if it's a small sum. Would you be willing to do that?
Yeah.
And you, Vanessa?
And Vanessa?
Same thing, yes, sir. Hello?
We hear you.
Yes.
So,
Vanessa?
Yes.
No, you're saying that is something that you'd be interested in?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. And MP Davis, maybe it's a larger conversation to be had, maybe to approach. I'm not sure if any insurance company, they have a scheme like this to assist vendors, but it's an opportunity considering the number of fires that we've seen over the last couple of years.
And it's not a far-fetched idea at all, because very recently we had it in place for the farmers.
Precisely.
And years ago,
Yes.
it would have been, it would have almost unheard of to hear of farmers having insurance. But given what is happening in our agriculture sector, it was explored, and the farmers liked the idea, and it is now a reality. So certainly, it is something that we can look into for our vendors in the market.
Well, MP, and to you, Vanessa Webster, and Karen Kelly, I really hope it's something that can be addressed, because it's certainly become a major issue. It's really heart-wrenching to see when farmers and market vendors lose everything because of these incidents. It really sets you back, and I can only imagine how painful it is to have to rebuild after something like that.
Exactly.
That is Member of Parliament for Western Hanover, Tamika Davis, as along with two vendors from the Lucy Market, Vanessa Webster and Karen Kelly. Thank you for joining us this evening, and all the best, and I hope things are settled for you in the coming days.
And thank you so much for having us.
Thank you too, sir.
And keep us updated, please,
Thank
MP.
you very much, sir.
Thank you. All the best.
And Sanjay, I'm really wondering what is the common factor. Is it arson? Is just because of the type of environment that a market is why it seems these fires are almost constantly happening? Some markets have been hit by multiple fires in short periods of time.
Yeah, that's true. And I wonder too, in the rebuilding process, is it that the local government ministry and also the municipal corporations, they consider how is it that they can make this market, when they're rebuilding, more fire prone? Are they installing the necessary fire suppression systems in place just to ensure that in the event that there's another fire at that market, the damages will be less? That's something that I'm wondering if they're doing.
I think one YouTuber suggested that shouldn't we have sprinkler systems in these markets, and I think that's an excellent idea. It's certainly it's a very low cost solution as well that would limit any potential damage from a fire. Just to have a sprinkler system.
Unfortunately, Siobhan, we have certain systems in place, but we're not being very strict as a country as it relates to these things. And the matter of fire is something that, we always talk about it after the fact. But the YouTuber is right. Why is it that we are building any market without a sprinkler system in place? Because that would help to lessen the damage that we're seeing. And on another matter, Siobhan, as it relates to insurance, I don't know how willing the insurance companies will be to insure these vendors, but it's certainly something that has to be considered, because every time there is a fire, unfortunately, everyone is looking to the government. And we understand the role of government, but also if the insurance companies could help in the process, it would certainly lessen the burden placed on the government now to try and provide assistance. And I'm sure the assistance that the government will provide will not be adequate to really help these vendors to rebuild in a proper way.
But certainly the government can, on its own initiative, create a collective insurance scheme for the vendors that is managed by the government itself, as they have done with other groups, if not necessarily a private entity, because as you're right, a private entity might consider the risk and the potential premium costs are not in their favor to do it.
Mm-hmm. Someone is asking, Siobhan, who would pay for the sprinklers, because the market fees would certainly skyrocket.
And I suppose that is the concern. But you have to invest in your livelihood. And sometimes you have to invest in protecting your livelihood. So I can understand the hesitancy to pay out, but sometimes you have to do that in order to ensure that come tomorrow you have something that you can turn to win your bread and butter. Yep. And that's just someone asking, where is Ricardo? Does he still work? And Ricardo is on vacation. He'll be back next week. People, calm down. But that is it for the cover story. The headlines are next.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
6 o'clock.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. The governing Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, is urging the proprietors at Stocks and Securities Limited, SSL, to ensure that Jamaicans, including the legendary Usain Bolt, are restored with funds they invested in the embattled private sector entity. The JLP made the call in a statement to the media on Friday. JLP Deputy General Secretary Senator Charles Sinclair says the party notes that an individual who was employed by SSL and reportedly confessed to stealing funds has been charged and is before the court. But Senator Sinclair says more needs to be done.
We make no comment concerning guilt or innocence of any individual connected to SSL. That's a matter for the court. But we are of the view that the proprietors of SSL have a moral obligation to ensure those who were fleeced, including the iconic Usain Bolt, are given back every dollar via the process of restitution. We also condemn the PNP operatives, including elected officials who have been using social media to tell blatant lies in a bid to falsely and without any credible basis seek to connect the government of Jamaica to wrongdoing at SSL.
Senator Charles Sinclair, JLP Deputy General Secretary. Lawyers are raising alarm over the appalling conditions of courts island-wide, highlighting deterioration of facilities. From failing infrastructure to the lack of basic amenities like bathrooms and parking spaces, the situation is becoming unbearable for legal professionals and the public alike. Calls for urgent intervention have increased, as many argue that these conditions are hindering the administration of justice and eroding the dignity of the court system. Leading the call for improvements to the courts across the country is King's Counsel Valerie Nita Robertson. She recently highlighted the need for more improvements to ensure a more efficient justice system.
Very frustrating. We're here at the Supreme Court. You know, last term, we had no bathrooms either. You go there, the toilet's not flushing, the bathroom smells terrible. You try and get on with the work by using the staff's bathroom, and then the staff start to lock the doors. It's frustrating. We have to do better, and we can do better.
That's King's Counsel Valerie Nita Robertson. Deputy Chairman of the Criminal Bar Committee of the Jamaican Bar Association, Saeed Bernard, has also weighed in. He notes that court buildings are in urgent need of infrastructure development.
There needs to be a review as it relates to the derelict buildings where there is a grave lack of suitable fixtures. And then there needs to also be some improvement in the lack of maintenance and government red tape, frankly speaking, as it relates to maintaining even the newer infrastructure where courts are concerned. Handling justice is one thing, but having the amenities and the infrastructure so to do is another. And so that needs to be dealt with as it relates to old derelict buildings that need to be fixed, temporary situations that have become permanent, for example, the Mandeville Court being on Plaza.
Saeed Bernard, Deputy Chairman of the Criminal Bar Committee of the Jamaica Bar Association. Mayor of Mandeville, Donovan Mitchell, is urging anyone with information that can aid the police in their investigation of Friday's shooting at the Mandeville Market to come forward. Gunmen opened fire at vendors at the back entrance to the market at about 10:15 a.m. The incident left a man and a woman shot dead and at least 4 others injured.
Just to say to the police, whatever you know, speak, because the next person might be you, because the young lady was just in the market doing her own business. One of the gentlemen was across the road in a syrup shop buying something else, and so it could have been any one of us. So let us be careful, speak what we know. We don't have to be an informer, as some people would put it. But the best thing to do is to try to avoid all of these by just speaking what we know so the police investigations can move forward.
The latest murders have pushed the number of people killed in Manchester to 40 since the start of the year. Mayor Mitchell says the Manchester Municipal Corporation stands ready to assist the grieving families.
Engaged in the thing, but to say to them that we from the Manchester Municipal Corporation will be there with them to give advice, to assist where possible, because it happens on the plant. I just want to say that I have advised the minister who's off the island as to what happened. I also advised the permanent secretary in the ministry, so they too are aware of the situation.
Donovan Mitchell, Mayor of Mandeville. Meanwhile, opposition spokesperson on citizen security, Senator Peter Bunting, is condemning Friday morning's shooting at the Mandeville Market that left 2 people dead and several others injured. In a statement on Friday, Mr. Bunting says the shooting highlights the ongoing threat of violent crimes plaguing communities across the country. The opposition spokesman says the incidents of violent crime in Manchester have been increasing in recent months. Senator Peter Bunting called on the Ministry of National Security and the High Command to increase the personnel and other resources assigned to the division before the parish loses its image as one of the most peaceful in the island.
This morning's incident at 10 a.m. in the town centre, only a couple hundred yards from the Mandeville police station, demonstrates the level of impunity with which criminals think they can operate in the parish capital. My deepest condolences go out to the families of those who lost their lives, and I wish a swift recovery to those injured in this horrific incident. No Jamaican should have to live in fear of violence, whether they are at work, at home, or in public spaces. We must urgently strengthen our efforts to bring an end to the bloodshed and restore safety to our towns and cities.
That's Senator Peter Bunting, opposition spokesperson on citizen security. Loving, respectful, loyal, and determined. That's how the late Private E.J. Domville was described in his eulogy read by his aunt Markeisha during his funeral service on Friday. The 21-year-old soldier was fatally shot in Denham Town in August. EJ's aunt says even in grief, his family continues to hold on to their happy memories of him.
We cannot ignore the painful circumstances of EJ's passing. His death was sudden, unexpected, and heartbreaking. Our hearts are heavy with grief, but even in the midst of tragedy, we find solace in the memories, laughter, and love we shared with him and the impact he had on all of us. EJ had a contagious smile, an infectious laugh, and a heart full of kindness. Music and dancing had a special place in his heart, but nothing could compare to the love he had for his mother. She was everything to him. If you had to describe him in 4 words, it would be loving, respectful, loyal, and determined.
Markeisha Massey, aunt of Private E.J. Domville. Those are the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Sports is next.
Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited are authorized distributors of international brands ABB, Omron, STC, Festo, and Thomas & Betts. They supply programmable logic controllers, photoelectric and proximity sensors, contactors and soft starters, power supplies, variable frequency drives, and much more. Visit them at 24 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston, or shop 32 Overton Plaza, 46 Union Street, Montego Bay, or visit their website cleasling.net. Cleasing Industrial Supplies for all your industrial automation and control solutions.
You shop, we ship. Click and Ship Express. We make online shopping easy with hassle-free shipping that's affordable, fast, and convenient. Take advantage of our great rates, multiple locations island-wide, and extended opening hours. Track your package every step of the way. Have a question? Email, call, or chat with our customer service team. Sign up for free at clickandshipexpress.com and get your U.S. mailing address. Click and Ship. Like it, click it, ship it. Conditions apply. A product of Jamaica Post.
You can have it all. Company events, birthday parties, or the wedding of your dreams. It's all possible at Grand Palladium Hotels and Resorts. We have magnificent event rooms and a dedicated team that will make your event the best experience that only Grand Palladium Hotels and Resorts can offer. Contact us at 876-619-0000 or call your favorite travel agency and ask about our promotion designed especially for you.
Good evening with your sports report. I'm Alvix Swaby. We kick things off with some footballers. Former England under-21 star Mason Holgate has been called up to the Jamaica squad for the October cycle of the CONCACAF Nations League Series. Holgate, who will turn 27 in 3 weeks' time, currently plays for Championship side West Bromwich Albion on loan from Everton. The defender is the only newcomer to the 23-man squad, which is missing a few first-team regulars, including Leon Bailey, Shamar Nicholson, and Michael Hector. However, there are recalls for former Jamaica College star Tyreek McGee, Romario Williams, and Ronaldo Cephas. Head coach Steve McLaren has never seen McGee in the flesh, but having watched several video clips of the midfielder, the Englishman says he is excited to see what he brings to the national team.
After seeing quite a bit of him, but only on video, on games, but hearing about his reputation, the kind of player he is. You know, I talked before about the 3 types of groups you need within a squad. You need a leadership group, you need the warriors who will do the hard work, but you need the talent to win games. And I think Tyreek McGee falls into that talent. He's got the ability to change a game. So, you know, when I'm looking at people finishing games, making impact, coming on and winning a game, keeping a game, Tyreek can be one of them players.
Jamaica will face Nicaragua away on Thursday, October 10, before hosting Honduras in Kingston 4 nights later on October 14 at the National Stadium. The game in Managua is expected to be played on a synthetic surface. So will the Jamaica coaching staff be using the artificial surface at the Captain Horace Burrell Centre of Excellence as preparation?
It's a short period of time, and we're going to assess that and obviously look at that. But we're definitely training in Nicaragua on the pitch. So we're looking at that. We might do, but as you say, you know, the process is a process. And I've got to say, the fields that the players are coming from, whether that's the MLS, USL or Premier League or Championship, UK, the surfaces are always perfect. But that's going to be, for me, the mentality of the players, how they deal with the synthetic turf, that's going to be key.
Steve McLaren. Meanwhile, head coach of Jamaica's senior men's football team, Steve McLaren, had good wishes for Cavalier after the Rudolph Speed coach side booked their spot in the semi-finals of the CFE Club Championships. Cavalier finished atop Group A following their 4-1 win against a fellow Jamaican outfit, Arnett Gardens, at the National Stadium yesterday.
I'd like to congratulate the Cavaliers on reaching the semi-final of the Caribbean Cup. I was at the game last night. Another good performance, and well done to them. Hope they progress.
Steve McLaren. The other Jamaican team, Mount Pleasant Academy, who needed a victory to advance to the semi-finals, lost 2-0 to Real Hope of Haiti. Tivoli Gardens take on Waterhouse in the featured match of a doubleheader in the Rare Never Jamaica Premier League at the Anthony Spalding Complex on Sunday. Both teams will be hoping to return to winning ways after suffering defeats in Week 3 of the competition. Tivoli were beaten 2-1 by Portmore United, while Waterhouse went down 2-0 against champions Cavalier. Meanwhile, Mullines United faced Chapelton Maroons in the other match. In the other fixtures, Humber Lion lock horns with Harbourview at the Effortville Community Centre, and Ferdinand Park will come alive when Portmore United host Vere United. Liverpool will seek to maintain the top position when they play away to Crystal Palace in the English Premier League at Selhurst Park tomorrow. The Reds sits atop the table with 15 points, one more than champions Manchester City, who plays Fulham. Liverpool manager Arne Slot says winless Crystal Palace will be difficult to beat.
You always look at the first one, and that's Crystal Palace. And I think they already showed how tough of an opponent they are against the big teams like United and Chelsea. In both situations, they got a result. So that's the first game, and that's why it's the most important one and the difficult one for us. 12:30 kickoff after playing at Wednesday evening late in the Champions League. Facing again a team that has a whole week to prepare, but that is part of working at a top club, that we face those teams and we have to be ready for those teams, and that's what we are tomorrow. And I don't look at it at this moment about 1 point, 3 point, 4 points. It's after the weekend, then it's interesting to look at the league table and not after the game we've played.
Arne Slot. In other fixtures, Arsenal hosts Southampton, Brentford are at home to Wolves, Leicester City hosts Bournemouth, West Ham welcome Ipswich, and Everton entertain Newcastle. Known to cricket as captain of the West Indies women, Hayley Matthews, says the team is disappointed by their 10-wicket loss against South Africa in their opening match of the ICC T20 World Cup today. Batting first, the Windies made 118 for 6 off their 20 overs. Stefanie Taylor, 44 not out, was the only batter to put up any resistance. In reply, South Africa made 119 without loss. South Africa reached the target with 13 balls to spare. Matthews says the team played below par with both bat and the ball.
Pretty disappointing game. Firstly, not scoring enough runs on the board, and we would have probably liked to have taken a few wickets and at least put up a bit more of a fight in the second innings. But yeah, with the game in 2 days' time, we're going to have to get things back together quickly and pick up the pieces and go again.
She admits conditions in Dubai was extremely hot. However, she says that's no excuse for their poor performance.
I'd have to say probably the hottest place I've ever played cricket or ever been on a whole, and I mean that's someone coming from the West Indies. Yeah, definitely some difficult conditions, but we've been here for about 2 weeks now, thankfully, so we've been able to acclimatize as much as you possibly can to conditions like this. But yeah, thankfully we've got the rest of our games as night one, so not as much sun.
Hayley Matthews. The West Indies will next be in action on Sunday against Scotland. Cricket West Indies CWI announced the squads for the eagerly anticipated West Indies Senior Men's T20 International and One Day International Series against Sri Lanka. The teams are set to compete in 3 T20 Internationals and 3 ODIs from October 10 to 27. After a resounding 3-0 series sweep against South Africa earlier this year, the West Indies have climbed the rankings, moving to 4th place and established themselves as serious contenders on the world stage. Several senior players, including Nicholas Puran, Andre Russell, Akeal Hossain, and Simran Hetmyer, have opted out of the tour for personal reasons, opening the door for newer faces and returning players. Captain Ravman Powell will lead the side, with Ruston Chase continuing in his role as vice-president captain. Head coach Darren Sammy, who now leads on selection under the revamped selection system, noted the importance of this series in evaluating players for key roles and understanding the conditions ahead of future ICC tournaments. And the final in horse racing. The Philip Fiani Gold Cup headlines the 9-race card that came on a spark tomorrow. 10 horses have been nominated for the Grade Stakes Open Allowance Contest for a purse of $2.5 million. American Bred Runners, Desert of Malibu, Fun Can't Done, and It's That a Fact are the pre-race favorites. Fiani, in whose honor the race was named, is expecting a very competitive race.
It is regaining some of its lost luster of past years, and years to come it will appear to get better and better. You'll notice of 10 entries, 6 of them are imported. That's due to the Supreme Ventures push in getting horses to come into the island to improve the product. Come forward Saturday, it will be a good race day. I look forward to seeing you all.
Philip Fiani, I'm Alric Swaby, and that's your sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:19.
Corian solid surface, so versatile and beautiful. It's non-porous, no sealing necessary, renewable and repairable, so easy to clean and maintain, and can be thermoformed into any shape. Choose Corian, the #1 solid surface in the world, when you want beauty and the best for your countertop. Visit Home International Limited, located at 104 Constance Ring Road. Telephone 755-1970 or 924-0437.
Imagine opening a bank account without ever leaving your home. Well, at CIBC Caribbean, we've changed the game. Open a new CIBC savings or checking account completely online using your computer or phone, anywhere, anytime. No need to visit the bank, no waiting in line. Just apply, verify, and sign your documents, all online. It's secure, seamless, and 100% digital. Open your new CIBC account by applying online today.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Robian Williams. A special good evening to our friends over on our YouTube platform. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know we like to hear from you, so we ask you to weigh in live in the comment section on today's Public Opinion. And if you hear it in my voice, it's because it is Friday. Yes, the weekend. It's the weekend. And today we're keeping it light, but also important, because we're talking about one of the essentials of every Jamaican table. You know, it have it in your house. Bread. From hard dough to cocoa bread to that fresh baked smell from your favorite bakery, we want to know, is it your corner shop, your grandmother's kitchen, or that bakery down the road? In Public Opinion this evening, we're asking who make the best bread. And if you're on YouTube, you'll realize that Mahiri Stewart is in the studio with me this evening. Greetings, Mahiri.
Hi, Jamaica. Usually when we have segments like Uncover Story or Nation's Business, you bring somebody that's experienced in the craft to give their piece.
Yes.
So I thought it was only right that as a bread connoisseur, I would be here to give my opinion as well. So
welcome, Mahiri. All right, so to the question, who make the best bread? And I must tell you, Mahiri will walk from point A to point Z, forget bread.
Indeed.
like I don't know, I've never had somebody or heard somebody will love bread like Mahiri. So we're asking, Who make the best bread? And I'm going to start with the comments on our social media platforms, and Mahiri over there will take on the YouTubers. So, right away on Facebook, Marie is saying Chuck's Bakery in St. Anne's Bay make the best bread. El Comandante is saying Spalding Bakery. All right. Meon says Coronation Bakery. I suppose that's in Portland. Somebody been tell me about that. Clunis is also saying Coronation Bakery. Yes. Let me see if I can get in some more. I'm seeing Coronation Bakery also in Portland coming from Shirley Brown. Whoa, Philip Jackson is saying Coronation Bakery. Look like me have to go Portland because I don't know this bakery. Original Boss Lady says Captain Bakery. Now this one, I do know. You know this one, Mahiri?
Yeah, they have branches. They have a branch in Mandeville Town.
Oh, there you go.
But there's one in Crossroads.
In Crossroads. Captain Bakery. Natalie Winter is saying National, Coronation, and Captain Bakeries, without a doubt, have not gotten a chance to sample the others yet. This one is new. Flagstaff Bakery on Barnett. I think this is Barnett Street, Montego Bay. All right. Shins for Life says the Sterling Tingde in a St. Thomas. The Sterling Tingde. Mother Road, biggest and best bread. All right. First, may I hear that one day. Natasha Lewis says Country Fresh Spalding. These are some new ones. JJ says Purity for me, and I know Purity. Healthy bread.
I should say this. I'm very impressed, because you'd think people would be coming with the regular brands,
national slice bread when we used to.
But these guys are digging deep. We're learning recipes.
I'm seeing one here, Sterling Bakery, Morant Bay. And these are little bakeries, little bakeries in our different parishes. And we all love what we used to. Me used to the National, And I used the Captains as well. All right, what's going on over there on our YouTube, Mahiri?
So I've seen the correct answer already.
The correct answer?
Yeah, the correct answer is by Tanya Jones. She says Sunrise in Black River. Let me tell you something, man. Sunrise in Black River. I wasn't sure what the name was until I looked it up before we came in here. They make cocoa bread. I told you in the news meeting. Black River Bakery cocoa bread is the best bread I've ever eaten, without question. And I've eaten a lot of bread, folks. But that, I can't get enough of that, man. That's my top tier bread. But if I keep going through, I see Grange Hill Bakery from James. I see Captain's Bakery. Daniel Richards says National and Yummy are the two best. Yummy Shorty Bread and National. That's what Daniel Richards says.
I love Shorty Bread too.
Okay, here's one I also recognize. Shelley Clark says Time and Patience Bakery.
Time and Patience Bakery? Where is that?
I don't know, but I've definitely heard of it before.
Time and Patience Bakery.
Jamaica Ricketts says West Indies Bakery in Mandeville.
You know that one?
No, never heard of that one before. What else we got here? Miss Birdie Bread. Okay, I know Miss Birdie. Wright's Bakery in Bayside, Portmore.
Oh,
do
my.
you know that one?
I do not know that one, Wright's Bakery.
I'm seeing more Coronation Bakery, Best Parish, Portland. Okay.
Carlene Smith here is agreeing with you. True. The cocoa bread is top.
Yeah, man.
Is that
Wilbert knows the recipes, man. Wilbert Davis is also agreeing with me. But yeah, Time and Patience in my bed. That's one I'm seeing a lot. There's a bread shop in Montego Bay at the market.
Yeah.
The market. Okay. The best bread.
All right, let me see what's happening on our X platform, where Tevin Johnson is saying National Bakery all the way, the white bread with corned beef, the white bread with the Grace Big Jack mackerel, something to die for. Corn with hot country pepper. Okay. This one is new. I'm seeing Totally Delicious Bakery coming from Endangered Middle. All right. Blazing Fire, the same. Coronation Bakery coming up again from Port Antonio. They're saying when you buy one of their 5-pound breads, that can serve you and the family of 4 for the week. Yeah.
Noted.
Amazing. Captain Bakery coming from Rodrigo Cohen. Time and Patience has, emerged once more, coming from Andrew's Statutory Declaration. Okay, what's going on over on YouTube?
I'm seeing Country Fresh in Spalding. Yeah, we're putting some bakeries on today. There's a lot of these, because you're not going to know every bakery in every parish, especially these smaller ones. But I'm seeing Country Fresh in Spalding, Clarendon. There's one I know for a fact that is in, let's say, Melrose. Williamsfield.
Williamsfield.
Yeah, there's a very small bakery there around that area that my mom used to go to occasionally. They make great bread as well. Sweet Stuff Bakery says Mikkel. All right, Mikkel. I'm seeing another vote for Time and Patience in Mobay. Time and Patience is flooding the YouTube chat right now. Flagstaff in Montego Bay says Mary Jane. I'm seeing a couple ones from I'm seeing a couple ones from Manchester. Manchester has a lot of options because you have Wholesome, you got Top Loaf, you got Captains.
Okay, you really know your bread. And,
no, I mean,
and the bakery.
Anybody that goes to Mandeville Town will know where Top Loaf is. It's this huge, tall building, and everyone knows Captain's Bakery is like near the ATM going up to Court. So
here's one for the Clarendonians. Clarendon, Green Shop. Green Shop Patty, they sell cocoa breads as well. I like them cocoa bread.
Yeah, see? Daniel Richards, Wholesome in Williamsfield. Yeah. And the thing about Wholesome in Williamsfield is that when you're driving to Kingston, you can smell the bread if you wind down the window.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
when you're almost at the entrance to the highway, you can smell the bread because you can see the bakery in the hills.
For me, I like going around National Roney or so, yeah, because you smell the fresh bread baking, especially in the nights, in the evenings.
Yeah,
you smell it.
When the bus is taking us and we go around the back, you can smell it.
It's amazing. It is amazing.
Someone says Crazy P in Brownstown. That's St.
new.
Anne.
That's new. Crazy P.
KGB's Bakery in Linstead, St. Catherine. Country Fresh Spalding's Duck Bread.
If you're just joining us, we're inside the court of public opinion and we're asking you, who make the best bread? Hands down, who make the best bread?
I'm seeing Seaview Bread in White House, Westmoreland. All right.
Yeah, that one is new.
That's one. Top Taste in Yes, I think that's the name of it. Top Taste. I think that's the name of the bakery in Williamsfield because that's what I was talking about earlier. That's what Valmac is saying. Close. Yes.
You get so excited about the little bread.
No, but I didn't remember the name. But when they said it's close to the coffee factory, I'm like, yeah, they're right because it is. Yeah.
What do you eat with your bread?
Listen, I eat many things with bread. I eat cheese, peanut butter, jam. Sometimes I got an omelet. I just put it between two slices of bread. I like eating bread with plantain as well.
That not bad at all. But I want to let our listeners or viewers know that Mahiri was the second person who told me about bread going into the freezer. Is it the freezer?
Yeah, man. Listen, ever since I came to this parish, bread doesn't last as long as it does when I'm in Mandeville. Well, you put down a loaf of bread for like 5 minutes here on your counter. It's nothing. It just withers away. It spoils. So you have to put it in the fridge so it doesn't get bad.
I don't know, man. I've never put my bread in a fridge.
No, but you literally have to because it's gonna spoil if you leave it out here in this.
And then let me ask, when you take it out, wet, how does that work?
It's not wet at all.
So the bread stays into the fridge?
Let me ask you something. YouTubers, how many of y'all put bread in the fridge? Because it's not as rare a thing as you think.
I don't know, man.
People do that. But if we're going back to the question though,
who make the best bread?
Someone listed a bakery that we were speaking about earlier, Tantan. We were talking about that in the news meeting.
Yes.
That's not the full name. George told us the full name, but it's very long and complicated. I don't remember it, but I remember Tantan was in there. Yuaton Bakery. Okay, that's a new one. Bread and plantain slap. Well, you're right, Father Perry. See that? See that?
It does. Precious Soul says, I put my bread in the freezer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jacqueline Thomas also says bread can put in the fridge.
Queen Dia all up him and him said, me too.
Donovan Crook says bread is unhealthy. Don't promote bread. Are you you listening to the wrong station, buddy, old pal? This isn't the place for you. We're bread eaters here.
He is a bread eater. He's a bread eater.
Too.
I eat bread, but not as you do. I mean, a bread will last me for more than a week.
Robbie, look in the YouTube chat and tell me how many people are saying, yes, you put bread in the fridge. It's a thing.
Marigold Weber says, I put bread in the refrigerator.
Yes.
Godfrey Smith says, I keep my bread in the fridge.
See? It's not weird at all. Look how many people do it.
No.
It's the only way to make it last if you leave it out in the cupboard.
All right, so
here.
I'm going to experiment. This is new for me. I'm going to put my bread in the fridge. I'm going to put it in the fridge. I don't know.
Well, do you live in a cool household?
Oh, no. Over with me, they're hot.
Yeah, no, but that's the point. You put it in the fridge because if you leave it out, it will...
But my bread never gets spoiled. My bread never gets spoiled. I don't understand. Maybe because I have bread eaters at my yard. So as the bread by, last long enough to spoil.
But before where I'm living now, I was living somewhere else in this area, and the bread didn't last long at all, man. If I left it there for like a week, it'd be completely spoiled. All ton different color, right? So I had to put it in the fridge oh my God, Think Tank just said plantain bread and cheese shot. You're
plantain
so right,
bread
bro.
and cheese. I got to try that. I've never had plantain bread and cheese. That combination.
These are the real recipes we're talking about now, man.
the
These
bread man
guys
over there, so.
get it. They get it, man. They get it. But yeah,
the bread man.
the YouTubers are
on point.
letting you know.
They're on point.
They're putting you on, Roby. Put
They're
your
on
bread in
point.
the fridge.
All right, I'm gonna try it, and then we come back and have a conversation.
Especially if you have
about
like
it.
2 loaves, and you know one's gonna last the lifespan of the other. So you eat off one, and then you have the other one. The other one needs to
And
go
I
in the
don't buy
fridge.
bread like that, you know. I don't know how people buy like all 2 bread one time. I buy one bread.
Yeah, but then you got to go buy another one.
I go to the, supermarket weekly.
But some people just need reserve bread, man.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your answers. We had several people with several different bakeries, several type of bread. A woolly pub bread, as I say, it is a staple. In your house right now, you must have a bread. Whichever bread it
Or at
be.
least some crackers.
Well, thank you guys so much for participating in Public Opinion. Thank you, Mahiri. Yes?
Yes. We read you 5 o'clock news and then we taught you about bread.
Yes,
There's
bread.
nothing we can't do here on Nationwide 90 FM.
Yes. But up next, the business report. Do stay tuned.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, industrial automation and control solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:35. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Chief Executive Officer of the Grace Kennedy Group, Don Webby, is set to take a temporary leave of absence from his position. In a statement to the staff on Friday, Mr. Webby says after careful consideration, he decided to take the leave to focus on his health. Mr. Webby notes that the decision was a difficult choice, but considers it in the best interest of both himself and the group. According to Mr. Webby, the GK Group's Chief Financial Officer, Andrew Mesado, will assume responsibility for the day-to-day operations of the company. Mr. Mesado has worked with the Grace Kennedy Group for 25 years and served as director since 2019. During his absence, Mr. Webby says he will remain involved at the strategic level. Hiring in the U.S. surged unexpectedly last month, easing fears that the economy might be heading for a sudden, sharp downturn. Employers in the U.S. added 254,000 jobs in September, much more than expected, while the jobless rate dipped from 4.2% to 4.1%. That's according to the Labor Department. That was the strongest gain since March and was far higher than the roughly 150,000 many analysts had forecast. President Joe Biden welcomed the report, one of the last major pieces of economic data that voters will receive before the presidential election. And finally, in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 158 Jamaican dollars and 59 cents to buy $1 US, 209 Jamaican dollars and 22 cents to buy $1 British pound, and 117 Jamaican dollars and 53 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
Former
a staff of Jamaica Mutual Life and Jamaica Mutual Properties. For beneficiaries of the pension schemes or their next of kin or beneficiaries of their estate are invited to contact Guardian Life at 12 Trafalgar Road, Kingston 10 or 876-927-4105, extension 2794, or GLL Pensions at myguardiangroup.com to make arrangements to claim their pension and or any other benefits payable.
We can light up your world with the rays of the sun, putting pure energy in the palm of your hand.
For over 20 years, Fosrich has been putting a world of energy in your hands. Now we bring you big savings with our line of solar energy products and LED lighting. Financing now available for all your home and commercial retrofit projects. Consult with our in-house staff or certified professional engineers for all your electrical needs. Fosrich Lifestyle. It's electric. Fosrich, your energy world.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
It's undeniable that we should be together.
The true beauty of music is that it connects people. It carries a message. It speaks to you. It changes you. And that's exactly what we do just for you every Sunday as we take you to Urban Paradise, 9:10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Urban Paradise is our weekly musical journey that will serve up 110 glorious minutes of positive storytelling through music, mixed in with inspirational features to provoke thought and to heal the soul.
Like a dream come true, just wanna be.
So join me, Diane Ashton Smith, this and every Sunday, 9:10 a.m. to 11 a.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media. Urban Paradise, opening our hearts, connecting to others.
Not a mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all the schoolers who are taking beats.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team. Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you.
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlor with Desmond McKenzie.
From 1 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, you'll now get more of your favorite vintage music.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Nationwide 90 FM will transform your Sunday into a musical time machine that will take you way back.
Come in, let's go back in time.
This magic moment.
Journey into yesteryear with Desmond McKenzie in the Mayor's Parlor.
I've got the music to jog your memory and make you smile.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best in vintage music.
Come into the Mayor's Parlor every Sunday between 1 and 6 p.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Register for one of the premier events of the Chartered Accountants Week 2024, the ICAJ Business Conference. That's right, the conference is set for October 10, 2024 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel and online. This year's theme, Reimagining the Future, Integrity, Innovation and Impact, will provide business and accounting professionals with modern strategies for today's economy. Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online on Nationwide 90 FM from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for key discussions, insightful information on the role of AI in accounting and more. The broadcast will also feature exclusive interviews and a wealth of knowledge that will showcase ICAJ's leadership in shaping the future of accounting and finance in Jamaica. So, tune in to Cliff Hughes Online for this revolutionary experience on October 10 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The ICAJ Business Conference is back. Catch all the action at the Jamaica Pegasus online or tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Jamaica. Register for ICAJ Business Conference at www.icaj.com by October 4.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Nation's Business is brought to you by BH Paints. Paint it, love it with BH Paints.
Good evening, listeners and viewers. It's 6:44 and it's time for the Nation's Business. Tell me, Sanjay, as it is a big debate going on in YouTube, do you freeze your bread? Do you freeze bread?
I don't. I heard Mahiri with it moments ago and I'm like, okay. I'm not so sure because when I take it from the freezer then to go and put the bread in the microwave.
Exactly. I don't think I've ever...
It's too much.
So Dana is saying that you actually put it in a toaster, you don't put it in the microwave.
See? I see. But I don't really like toast bread either, Dana.
Is this? I just say... Dana is giving me a look. No, but some people don't like toast bread, Dana.
I'll eat toasted bread, Dana, but I'm not necessarily a fan of toasted bread. I like my bread soft and nice.
Precisely. I agree with Sanjay on this one. on to the Nation's Business. Yes. The Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF and the Jamaica Defence Force JDF have launched an interagency operation forum IOF under the National Assault on Gangs Initiative. In a statement, the JCF says the move is a decisive one to combat the country's persistent gang problem. The forum is co-chaired by Acting DCP in charge of strategic operations Warren Clark and Colonel Damian Creary of the JDF.
And it comprises key members of the JCF's area commanders, JDF battalion commanders, and representatives from the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, MOCA. The JCF says it aims to enhance coordination between the nation's security forces in their efforts to dismantle criminal gangs that pose the greatest threat to national security. The forum will also serve as a central point for planning, intelligence sharing, and operational coordination across the country.
The initiative is part of a broader strategy to degrade and eliminate violent gangs, which continue to drive much of Jamaica's serious crime. We're now being joined by Acting DCP in charge of strategic operations, Warren Clark, to discuss further. Good afternoon, Sir Clark.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, listeners.
So can you tell us more, ACP Clark, about this national assault on gangs? Acting DCP on the matter of national assault on gangs initiative.
Okay, thank you very much. First, the context. Our country, Jamaica, has had this challenge over time for at least 40 years. We've had an issue with gang and guns. And although in the last 2 years we have caused 50% or so attrition to gangs, the remaining organizations still pose a significant challenge to our safety and security. And so for this and other reasons, the government a few weeks ago declared a national assault on gangs. That's the background. The Joint Chiefs, Commissioner, and CDS gave some directives, and in acting on those directives, the Interagency Operations Forum was established, and it is a reporting point to the Interagency Working Group, which comprise a collection of agencies across government affiliated with security. So, we say the usual suspects, the JCF and the JDF are in place. This time around, we have been close put with MOCA and the Corrections Department. And the idea is to litigate and, in a joint way, integrate the security infrastructure, intelligence and investigations pointed at the common threat, which are the criminal organizations in the country. And,
what is going to make this one different, though, acting DCP? Because we have heard of many initiatives in the past. The most, I can recall Operation Kingfish, and there have been joint military and police operation in the past. What separates this one from those that we have seen before?
Well, I don't think the intent is to separate. Is to progress. So Operations Kingfish and all those initiatives were baton changes in a race, each reaping good success. And as I have said, that in the last 2 years, we have halved the population of gangs. So we are declaring that we are making good progress. The fact is that although we have made progress, we know that the citizens are still very annoyed and are impatient with the remaining gangs that exist. And this is why an assault on gang is appropriate at this time, a general assault.
Yeah, but if you're mentioning the passing of the baton and the successes of previous initiatives, why start an entirely new initiative? Why not continue with what already exists and strengthen on that?
Well, we are not starting. We say that we are reorganizing. You see, one of the things that needs to happen in our setting is that we always remain agile. We need to change. Criminals are well known to study the moves of the security forces. And once we are static, we are going to be hit. And so it's very, very important that we keep changing our strategies to remain effective in this kind of arena.
And what DCP warrant does the JDF bring to the table in terms of this forum and the intelligence gathering aspect of it?
They have superior planning skills that we we rely on. We partner with them very well. We have the objective that we, make sure that on a daily basis we are working together, and we learn from each other, and we get better every day.
And go ahead, Sanjay.
There are a number of gangs that operate in the country, and we've heard the National Security Minister lament in the past of the number of gangs that we have. How will you prioritize which gangs or the criminal activities that you will target first? Because I'm sure you have a long list of gangs that you have to go after, but how are you going to prioritize?
Well, we're happy to say that we have a shorter list than we had 2 years ago. But nonetheless, yes, we need to prioritize. By intelligence and evidence, we know the gangs that are most prolific, those that are, affecting more violence than others. And as soon as we are satisfied with how we are attributing violent actions to the gangs, then they are prioritized depending on how active they have been in the spaces.
So tell me something, DCP Clark. Is the DPP's office involved in this forum? I would think the role that they play in terms of the prosecution of many of these criminal gang trials would actually assist in providing the police and the JDF with some insight as to what they should be seeking in terms of evidence and information.
We have legal support. In our jurisprudence, it's appropriate that an office such as the DPP remain aloof in these circumstances until the appropriate time.
Okay. And outside of that, though, how, my apologies, how does the JCF intend to use this forum as a means to build better interagency cooperation with the JDF?
Well, that is the idea. The interagency working group, which is sort of a committee from the general forum, they will have regular meetings. They are individuals or posts that are meeting every day, and we are able to network and to communicate in real time depending on developments.
And this will translate to on-the-ground cooperation as well in terms of military joint security force operations.
Absolutely, which has already begun.
Mm-hmm. And what about the utilization of technology? Because acting DCP, we know these gang members, they are utilizing the technology. Is it that from where you sit, you will have a heavy reliance on the technology to counter these gangs?
Absolutely. It goes without saying that in this day and age, it's our go-to. There are just few things that can happen without saying much, without our use and technological aids.
And what about working with authorities outside of Jamaica, especially the U.S. authorities? Is that something on the cards?
Oh, yes, most certainly it is. And, each agency have various relationships with our external partners. And that is one of the advantages of sitting together with all agencies, because we are able to engage and lobby our partners, international and otherwise, together.
Well, acting DCP, we want to wish you all the best. We are looking for the results because we really have to tackle the gangs here in this country. All the best, and we hope to hear more from you.
All the best to you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Before we move on to our next segment, we have a bit of tragic news coming in from the St. James Police. They're on the lookout for a taxi operator who mowed down a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force during a traffic stop today. Commanding officer for the St. James Police Division, Superintendent Aaron Samuels, provided further details on the incident.
Approximately 3:10 p.m. this afternoon, police officers assigned to the St. James Division were conducting a roadblock exercise along the Granville Main Road vicinity, St. John's, when one officer signaled at white Toyota Probox to stop. The Probox slowed down, but upon reaching close to the police officer, the Probox sped up, hitting the police officer, sending him over a precipice roughly around 50 to 70 feet deep. The police officer was rescued from that precipice. However, he was unconscious but still alive and breathing. He was taken to the Cornwall Regional Hospital where he is now in a serious but stable condition. And we have not been able to identify the plate number for the Probox, but we're asking for the public's support in finding this white Toyota Probox, said to be one of the newer ones. We believe that there is some damage to the front of the vehicle, so we're asking for help in locating this vehicle and also the driver and the occupants of this vehicle. It is believed that this vehicle may have been transporting illegal weapons, and we want to ensure that we bring these persons to justice. So we are seeking the public support in identifying this vehicle and also the occupants of this vehicle.
So there you have it, listeners. If you have any information regarding this incident, do not hesitate. I encourage you to please contact the St. James Police, because this is rather tragic for a taxi operator to do such a thing in an attempt to escape scrutiny. They nearly killed a man, sending him off into a 70-feet precipice. And my best wishes to the policeman that he recovers from those injuries sustained.
Yes, best wishes to the police officer, and I really hope that we're able to nab that taxi operator.
So, listeners, we take a break and we come back with more.
Nation's Business was brought to you by BH Paints. Paint it, love it with BH Paints.
Choose your life insurance coverage, apply, and pay online. Live the e-life with Sagicor Life. The time by Sagicor Life is
7 o'clock.
We can light up your world with the rays of the sun, putting pure energy in the palm of your hand.
For over 20 years, Fastwitch has been putting a world of energy in your hands. Now we bring you big savings with our line of solar energy products and LED lighting. Financing now available for all your home and commercial retrofit projects. Consult with our in-house staff or certified professional engineers for all your electrical needs. Fastwitch Lifestyle. It's electric. Fastwitch, your energy world.
The 5% Club is now taking new members. Sounds exclusive? We don't want it to be. You see, it's made up of less than 5% of women who get screened for breast cancer in our country each year. At Sagicor, we've made it our mission to help to change the statistics. In fact, with 5,000 more women getting screened, we can officially become the 6% Club. And we won't stop there. So please get checked. Early detection saves lives. Go to bit.ly/5% Club JA.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to HR@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today. Excited exciting news! The Design Studio on Nationwide 90 FM just got a whole lot bigger. Join us this and every Saturday now from 1 to 3 p.m. for an exclusive show that elevates your home, mind, and soul. Discover the latest interior design trends to create your dream sanctuary. Unlock your true potential with personal growth strategies. Nourish your body and spirit with expert wellness tips. Don't miss out on the inspiration you need to live your best life. Tune in to the Design Studio this and every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. and take the first step towards a more fulfilling you.
Make me sweat, make me harder.
It's 7:02, listeners, viewers, and we are now into the third and final hour. We're still on the topic of crime, but not here in Jamaica, as many people consider crime one of the major issues here in Jamaica, but we're not the only people in the region facing it, as crime in Trinidad and Tobago is on the rise, with the murder figures surpassing those over the previous 5 years. The police recently said they're investigating reports that a marked service vehicle was used in the abduction of a used car dealer in Chaguanas. It's reported that the businessman was abducted by individuals dressed in tactical police gear and operating a marked service vehicle.
It is reported that sometime after 9 p.m., the men dressed as police officers stopped the vehicle transporting the 32-year-old used car dealer who was traveling with 3 other occupants. The would-be police officers reportedly left the scene with the businessman, who has not been named. In a subsequent statement, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service said it launched a comprehensive investigation into the matter and is actively pursuing all leads into the incident.
Recently, the country's health minister, Terence Dale Singh, was robbed while speaking with a constituent. Dale Singh is the member of parliament for the constituency of St. Joseph. In a video posted on social media after the incident, Dale Singh is seen speaking with the police. Shortly after, he's seen and heard talking on the phone to someone who appears to be a ministerial colleague.
Well, Dale Singh is heard saying, "Minister, so I am in St. Joseph in my constituency, 5 o'clock, hot sun, bright sun, sitting outside Nyabingi Bar opposite the church with a constituent. 2 fellas walk up to me, put a gun to my head, and robbed me of my bracelet. Just letting you know where crime has reached." Well, to discuss the situation where crime is concerned in the country, we're being joined by senior reporter at CNC3 News, that's Ryan Bechu. Thank you for joining us, Ryan.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me on, Shaban and Sanjay. Good evening to you and good evening to all of your listeners in Jamaica. It's a pleasure to be back.
Wonderful.
Before we get to the overall picture, Mr. Bechu, this incident regarding the kidnapping using a marked service vehicle by people wearing police officers' garb, has there been any link or suggestion so far to suggest that this was carried out by members of that police force?
That is the closest lead that the police service and by extension the country has at the moment, that this was done, as you mentioned, in a marked police vehicle, meaning that this is an official police car by members of the police service. And that's essentially the lead that we have at the moment. But it also speaks in great lengths to where we are right now in terms of the crime fight. And it really speaks to where and how a lot of these crimes within the country are being committed. And it really is an alarming trend of police officers and police equipment, be it police vehicles, be it police equipment, be it police clothing, be it police shields or logos being used in various crimes across the country. This isn't an isolated incident. This is one of many incidences that we've seen in Trinidad and Tobago, but particularly Trinidad and the island of Trinidad. We've seen where not only the police service, guys, but also the prison service. We've seen crimes committed in Trinidad where bullets from guns that have been traced back to the prison service have been found. Spent shells have been found with markings from the prison service. So it sort of gives you an idea of where we are at in terms of the crime fight.
Give us an idea of the murder figures. When you compare last year to where you're at this year, are you seeing an increase?
Yes, there's a vast increase. There's an increase in crime. In fact, it's a little bit worrying that as we head into the tail end of the year, I think we're into the last quarter of the year now, that we could surpass and go on to get to 500 murders. For 2023, let's just say the month started in October. On October 1st, 2023, there were 449 murders. On October 1st, 2024, there were 474 murders. So you see, there's just about 26 more murders this year than there was last year. For the month of September last year, 2023, there were 53 murders in Trinidad and Tobago. In September 2024, there were 58 murders. So the statistics, whether it's on a monthly basis, whether it's on a bi-monthly basis, whether it's on a yearly basis, the statistics on crime are all up.
Do you find that there has been pressure from those within the country on the government to find measures to deal with this crime situation?
Yeah, there's a lot of frustration. In fact, in Trinidad and Tobago, with an election year due next year, crime is going to be the number one issue in the country. There's no shying away from it. The opposition is running on the basis of crime and the government's lack of ability to deal with crime, what they deem the government's lack of ability to deal with crime. The government is on the offensive, sometimes on the defensive when it comes to crime, because their statistics have not been good over the last 9 years. I just detailed the last 2 years for you guys. So crime is the major concern, and there is a lot of outcries from a lot of different, not only civil society, but business chambers, regular people. Even the media writes in its editorials, the newspapers writes in their editorials about crime and about the importance of getting a handle on the crime situation and the escalation of crime. So there are outcries from various sectors of society. In fact, just this evening before I came on your program, I was actually reading news, and one of the stories is that a businessman who was about to be robbed today, he actually had a licensed firearm. He shot at the two bandits. They got away with $1,200 in cash. That's 1,200 TT dollars in cash. And then, but they also got the key to his van, which is a very expensive van. And he's now saying, he told us, he said he's packing up and he's now beginning the process of moving him and his family migrating. And he was also saying that this isn't just an isolated case. He said businessmen every day in Trinidad and Tobago are packing up and they're looking to migrate because of the crime situation. So, the feeling on the ground, particularly from the business community, who you can say in large part is being targeted. And then you have home invasions, which are also on the rise in Trinidad, particularly in Trinidad. There's a sense of frustration among the population that not enough is being done to get a handle on crime.
And do you get a sense that there's a growing rift between the citizenry and the police force, especially considering what was previously reported regarding the kidnapping being done in a service vehicle by people wearing police uniforms?
It does, of course. In any circumstance, you begin questioning if a police officer comes to your home at a particular time. You do think about it. Is this legitimate? Is this person, actually here legitimately, or are they here for a criminality? It does put doubt within the minds of Trinbagonians, and Trinbagonians have been very open about that doubt and that lack of confidence that they feel in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. But guys, I know we're talking about crime, and it ties very much into it, though it's domestic violence. There was a damning report 2 days ago, a damning report on Wednesday published by the Police Complaints Authority of Trinidad and Tobago into police negligence of domestic violence reports, which have ultimately led to the deaths of women in this country. I say all of that to say, let me break it down. Women have gone to the police in this country. They have said, I'm being threatened. I'm being threatened with my life. I'm being threatened physically. I'm being threatened sexually, right? I'm being threatened emotionally. The police has neglected to either take a report or to deal with the situation. In turn, those women in that damning report have ended up dead in this country. So that is to give you a picture of the level of dissatisfaction the population has with how the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has been running.
Do you know if there is any report that exists that probably look on what has been the real cause behind increase in murders that you're seeing in Trinidad and Tobago? For example, in Jamaica, we just had a discussion as it relates to gang and gang violence, which is a serious problem we're having. Have you been able to see any report that could tell you what is the major contributor to this increase in the murders that you're seeing?
Yes. So I want to answer your question on a two-pronged approach because it's a very good question. The first one is yes, we know that it is primarily driven by gangs. In fact, close to 70%, just under 70%, I should rather say, of the murders that are taking place, it is gang-related. Now, that's on one. But you ask a very important question about whether a report exists. If that report exists, I don't know of it. I know that the TTPS does a very good job of taking statistics. But in the absence of data, the data that you speak of, the report that you speak of, the statistics that you speak of, nothing could really be properly done. Anything that you want to do in the modern world, in the 21st century, any change that you want to make, any legislation that you want to pass, any policies that you want to be informed, it has to be done in this modern world that we live in with data, with statistics, right, with information. And if we don't have that, then I'm not sure how we're going to tackle this issue of crime. And I mean really deep statistics to get to the root of what you are talking about how many gangs are there in Trinidad and Tobago, what is the geographical locations of these gangs, what are the size of these gangs, which gangs are warring against each other. You know, if we can't answer these questions and into a report that you speak of, then how are you actually going to deal with it? So I think I'm not going to say that a report does not exist, but I don't have one on my desk.
And what about the response from the government in terms of, as you said, generate that necessary information in order to tackle the problem, and on the more wider, their attempts to put to the people that they're on top of the issue?
Yeah, so the government, like I mentioned, has been on the offensive when it comes to the topic of crime. It has raised its hands up and it has said, yes, crime is a major problem. This is what we are trying to deal with it. The national budget presentation was read on Monday by the Finance Minister Cominbert in Trinidad and Tobago. In that budget for national security, they said that they are going to purchase interceptors. Those are vessels that will be put on the seas because we have a huge problem with porous borders and allowing illegal guns and ammunition to come into the country. Not just illegal guns and ammunition, but also people, illegal immigrants who may not have Trinidad and Tobago's best interests at heart. They also said that they are going to increase the fleet of police vehicles by 2,000 over the next 3 years. In the first tranche, it's going to be 500 police vehicles. And today, in the House of Parliament, during the budgetary debate, the minister in the National Security Ministry, Keith Scotland, he said that we need to get those vehicles out of the yard and we need to get them out onto the streets, patrolling Trinidad and Tobago. So the government has been trying to say the right things. They've been trying to instill confidence within the country that they are trying their best to tackle crime that is out of control. But Siobhan, Sanjay, you guys know, because you guys have it in Jamaica as well, the same problem. If you're not seeing results, if you're not seeing those numbers that I called go down, then the population is not going to have confidence in you. You could put all the vehicles out for the police service. You can buy all the interceptors that you want to buy. You could spend the entire budget on national security. But if crime continues to happen and you don't see results of fewer and fewer murders, then the population is not going they're not going to have confidence in you.
And there must be a major hit to the trust, public trust, based on what they would have seen happening with police vehicles, etc., and the corruption, etc., that exists.
Not just police vehicles, but the reaction of the police. Police being accused of being involved in extortion. Police and prison officers being allegedly involved in gang activities. It's a holistic view from the citizenry that there is something fundamentally wrong with the people who ought to be protecting us, with the people that we ought to be going to and saying, I have a problem with my neighbor threatening me, and you have to do something. But then the police never shows up at your house, and then things escalate and someone is killed. There is this fundamental feeling within the country that they have lost confidence, they have lost trust in the police service, in the armed forces, to protect them. And just not protect them, because the motto of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is to protect and serve. To protect and serve. To protect is one thing, but you also have to serve the nation. All right? And they've lost confidence in that ability for the police service to properly serve them. You know, and it really goes sometimes to a very basic, fundamental value. You place a phone call to a police station, and sometimes the responses that you get from the police, either to hold on or to call back, or they can't take the report right now, which happened in a domestic violence case. In that very damning report that I mentioned to you guys, the woman went to the police service. She went and she said that she is being threatened by her partner, that she would be killed. The police never took the report because he said he was working, his senior official put him on something else to work that day. You know, there's this lack of trust, and that's why a lot of citizens are now calling for, and the opposition has also backed this call for more citizens to have access to firearms users' licenses, where they can purchase their own firearms and they can protect themselves. That call has been escalating. That call has been getting very louder, and that call, Sanjay and Siobhan, will become a key political issue to campaign on and against in the upcoming election.
Tell me, Mr. Bechu, I listened to how you describe things, and I can help but draw the parallels here to Jamaica. And I know one of the instant things that we did in terms of addressing this matter of a lack of trust in the JCF is the creation of the Independent Commission of Investigations, which oversees the JCF's operations in terms of how they carry out their functions. Does a similar organization exist in Trinidad and Tobago?
So more than just the organization, there are a series of investigations. Whenever something happens and a police officer is involved, or police officers or prisons officers, there are always independent or prison service or TTPS-led investigations. There are always these investigations to get to the crux of how this rogue police officer or officers were able to derelict their duty, right, and not protect and not serve the population. The problem again is, and I hate to go back to it, is that because the public does not see the fruits of that investigation, they don't see that the police officer was charged. They don't see that the police officer was let go from the police service. They don't see that the police officer went to jail, if they even went to jail. Because the public doesn't see that, then the public assumes that they just got slapped on the wrist. They just got moved from one police station to another police station. And that in itself has contributed in large part to the lack of confidence that they have, not just in the police service, but the hierarchy of the police service. The very people at the top of the police service that ought to be managing the police officers on a day-to-day basis.
And you see, interestingly enough, Mr. Bechu, that's why we created INDICOM, which was separate and apart from the police, to oversee the police, because we had the same issue of cases going to the internal investigative bodies and coming up with nothing. And then they found a solution in that it had to be a completely separate entity from the police force and the prison service and the JDF that handles those kinds of investigations. So it's very interesting to see the parallels between our regional countries and how this matter of crime and the flow of illegal weapons into our nations has really driven the issue of murder and crime in our countries. And I thank you for bringing it to our attention, Mr. Bechu.
I just wanted to add something, because I think you made a critical point at the start and at the end, and just for the education of your viewers, because I attended the CARICOM Crime Symposium that you guys know of and you guys reported on, and I actually spoke to you guys about a CARICOM Crime Symposium last year on your program. It's very important what you said, and this is just because I'd like your Jamaican audience to understand, and I try to get people to understand this all the time. Crime is not just a Jamaica problem. It's in Latin America and the Caribbean have the highest violent rate in the world. This is Latin America and the Caribbean, the region that we live in. So it's not just a Jamaica problem. It's a Trinidad and Tobago problem. It's a problem in St. Lucia at the moment. It's a problem in Barbados at the moment. So it's not just, I think that Trinbagonians as well, Trinidad and Tobago citizens as well, Sanjay and Siobhan, tend to think, gosh, why is Trinidad so bad, and it's Trinidad and But yes, I'm not saying that it's an excuse. This is not an excuse, but I am saying that we do live in one of the most violent places, regions in the world, and that is, statistically speaking, that is not my opinion.
Well said. That is Ryan Bechu. He's the senior reporter at CNC3 News in Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. I mean, there are a lot of things I'd like to do on a Friday night, but this one is my favorite. Take care, Sanjay and Siobhan.
Thank you. All the best. Siobhan, on a much lighter note, right?
Yes.
It's a Friday.
Yes.
I didn't say which bread I like. Giant Hardo bread from National. I like that. And if you're on the healthy side, I like the Healthy Start, the honey wheat bread. That one is really good too. And when I was going to high school, Siobhan, I'm from Westmoreland. There was a little corner bakery called Mr. Car Baker. I had to message my mom to ask her quickly. That bread is, when I get that bread hot, Siobhan, you don't need nothing else.
I had to give up the white bread when I got my little diabetic scare, and I eat usually just wheat bread now as a substitute. But boy, do I miss the nice little hunk of white bread sometimes. It really just tastes better.
You need to try the honey wheat from National. That one is good. I actually really love that one, and I love my white bread, but I'm trying to be healthy too, and that one is nice.
Dana is questioning your like for the National bread.
Really?
she said you and her are going to have words. Apparently, National isn't the bread to go.
Dana, how can you not like National white bread, the sliced bread? Come on, Dana. Half your life gone right this one.
She's saying it's very basic. But I don't know. I got looks when I said I actually like the Captain's Bakery bread, but I got looks in the production meeting when I said that this morning, like as if I'm crazy. As if, why would you like Captain's Bakery bread? I love Captain's. I grew up on Captain's Bakery bread. When I was coming down from halfway tree, we'd go to the Captain's Bakery, pick up some bread. It was good.
You see, that's why I like
Marigold. Give me a look.
Marigold says she liked the Healthy Start bread too. It's nice, especially the honey wheat Marigold. I love the honey wheat. That one is really good. And I'm not a lover of whole wheat bread, and that one, I can eat that one without no butter, nothing on it. Really nice.
She said we need to take a trip down to Dump and get some of the Coley. What you call it? What is it? Coley what? Coleyville Bakery down in her neck of the woods. I don't know if I can trust your assessment, Dana.
I'm not sure we can trust that, Dana.
But listeners, or so we don't trust your assessment, Dana, at all.
No, we don't. Because Dana, if you don't like the Giant,
pure energy in the palm of your hand.
For over 20 years, Fosrich has been putting a world of energy in your hands. Now we bring you big savings with our line of solar energy products and LED lighting. Financing now available for all your home and commercial retrofit projects. Consult with our in-house staff or certified professional engineers for all your electrical needs. Fosrich Lifestyle. It's electric. Fosrich, your energy world.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
The 5% Club is now taking new members. Sounds exclusive? We don't want it to be. You see, it's made up of less than 5% of women who get screened for breast cancer in our country each year. At Sagicor, we've made it our mission to help to change the statistics. In fact, with 5,000 more women getting screened, we can officially become the 6% Club. And we won't stop there. So please get checked. Early detection saves lives. Go to bit.ly/5% Club JA.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers. As I said, we're taking your calls. It is 630-937-124 and 618-8255. Keisha, good evening.
Hi, Siobhan. Good evening.
How are you doing, Keisha?
I'm doing fabulous. My dear son, very good evening.
Hi, Keisha. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful.
Okay, great. Just earlier on, I heard you speak about a policeman get hit by a motor vehicle in St. James.
By a taxi operator, yes.
Yes. Wow. Very unfortunate, but I join with you and other well teams in Jamaica in the get well of this police and hope that he can recuperate from his injuries pretty soon and, he doesn't cause any form of disability.
I definitely agree with you on that one there, Keisha.
And the thing I would want to ask, right? Does the police wear body cam? Because if the police was wearing a body cam, then it would come in handy at this time because at least the body cam would be able to pick up the license plate, the number.
Agreed, Keisha. I don't know. I know they've been trying to get this body cam thing rolled out for the better part of a decade now. I don't know where we are in terms of having that initiative up and running.
Yes, man. I believe that it will come in handy. I don't know because there was much talk about the police should be wearing body cam. I support that because it helps in even the crime fighting, and it will came in very handy with this situation. Because listen, sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just adding that I remember in mid-September, the police commissioner had indicated that 1,000 body cams are to come. They're on order. So let's see where we go with that. But continue, Keisha.
Right. Let me tell you, I remember some years back in St. James when, and sometimes I really like to react situation because I know that sometimes it won't take a while to heal. But I remember when Chopper Whitmore's son last season life. And everybody would remember Chopper Whitmore, famous reggae boy, and also coach of the reggae boy national team, Jamaica national team, right? And I remember when his son got hit down in St. James, unfortunately, last season life. I said here on Nationwide that it should be that when you went to license your vehicle, the license plate should reflect the parish that you are from. Too many times we hear that person get mowed on and the person take away themselves. No, if that vehicle that hit the policeman, right? If you could have used it, license plate, to know which parish the person is from and which parish the vehicle license in, then at least you know that you could kind of narrow down the search.
But certainly,
I'm not sure that will solve the problem in Keisha at all because Jamaicans, they can license the vehicle in Kingston and they live in St. James.
Yes, I know that, but I think at least when I say the incident will be far more pure because yes, we know so we teach fire, we know so we come like an right? But I'm saying that it's a full-time law for we ensure that. Because guess what happens? It couldn't be even abduction. You understand?
I understand, Keisha. But
all right, the final point I want to make, right? in your news earlier on, right? I heard somebody was complaining about the bathroom in the courthouse.
Yes.
Isn't that their person employed to get these maintenance done in these courthouses?
I don't know, Keisha, but this issue, I think they're just in such a poor state that maintenance is not the problem at this point. I think it's just a matter that the facilities are just not up to standard and need to be replaced.
Yeah, but for it to get there, there must be somebody that probably would be checking and checking and checking and checking, so then the situation wouldn't got to where it got now.
I hear you, Keisha. I don't know how these things are maintained by the CAD, but I mean, I've heard from the lawyers, I've heard from others about the state of those conveniences, and I would never want to use one of those bathrooms.
One of them saying that the place flooded out.
And I think, and the women particularly have it bad, because I understand that some of the courthouses, they don't have their own private facilities specifically for them, and sometimes even when they do have their private facilities, because of the deplorable state of the other bathrooms, the men sometimes use the women facilities, and that cannot be fit for purpose.
Well, I think that there should be somebody in place, right, to ensure that the maintenance and the upkeeping of these facilities are up to par. You understand?
Yeah, definitely, Keisha.
Just like when somebody probably leaving, and going overseas, they employ the caretaker to ensure that the property and the facility is well kept. So, knowing that it's a courthouse and it's a public facility, yes, I think that there should be a person there to ensure the upkeeping and the maintenance.
I hear you, Keisha, and I agree, but I think it's one of those things that I believe, because Jamaica is faced with so many challenges on so many fronts and so little money to stretch across these things, it's one of those things that just falls through the cracks.
Anyway, guys, thank you and have a good weekend.
Same to you, Keisha. Enjoy your Friday and enjoy your weekend. I see PB again asking in the chat what happened to Ricardo. He's on vacation, although interestingly enough, he stopped by today. I told him to come in here and say hi to you guys, but I don't think he wants to be reminded of work while he's still on his vacation.
He's on vacation.
Bobby, good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen. And how are you?
Doing quite well.
Yes, Ricardo going to eat him turkey, man. So...
curry chicken, Bobby. So it's a curry chicken.
Yeah, so just allow him to eat him turkey and him jerk pork and them stuff, them on. Yes, two quick things I would like to talk about. I want to commend the Andrew Holness administration. I have never seen an administration give back people tax return yet. From I am a youngster growing up until now. See, before Dr. Nigel Clark, the Met Office, those civil servants who earn $3 million, under $3 million per year, if they apply to the to tax admin, they will be able to get a one-off payment of $20,000, right?
Yes.
And I must say kudos to the Andrew Holness administration, although, they are criticizing the administration and find all sorts of false innuendos against him. But trust me, he's doing a good job. And finally, I just want to say this. The country doesn't have a credible or viable opposition.
Is that how you see it, Bobby?
Why I said that?
That's how you see it, Bobby?
Yes, because look here, from their conference until now, I'm not going to call no names, but the entire country or even people overseas see this. We cannot trust this opposition. They are not credible. They are not.
Why? What would cause you to come to that? What would cause you to come to that conclusion?
You remember what took place at their conference, and also what take place now in East Portland.
What took place at the conference? Remind me. The East Portland, you're talking about ISAT being the representative for them. But what took place in East Portland? What took place at the conference?
No, look here, man. No, look here. I don't want to say it on the phone, but Chevron sit right beside you, and I think Chevron was at the conference and saw what.
No, but many things happened at the conference, Bobby. So, is there a specific thing that you're referring to?
Huh?
Is there a specific thing you're referring to? Many things happened at the conference.
That opened the eyes of all Jamaicans and one.
Oh, okay. You're talking about
right, and
the appearance of Vybz
their
Kartel.
members, and one of their members was upset about it and leave the stage. One of them, and trust me, almost we as Jamaicans sit down and trust a government in waiting to come and lead this country? No way. Right now, I tell you, Mr. Mark Golden, you lose it, boss. You lose it.
Let me ask you this, Bobby. Although I suppose it goes without saying, you vote, correct?
Huh?
You vote, correct?
Lord have mercy.
All right. Just making sure, though. Just making sure. As I said, it probably goes without question. And I think that's what the country needs. It's more people like you voting. And there's a distinct lack of that is the actual issue. And I don't mean that to say voting for JLP. I'm talking, there are a lack of people like you in both political parties telling these leaders what they actually want in terms of how they should be carried, what decorum they want from their political leaders. And I believe that is something that is very much lacking in our modern political landscape, where the people who inform the voting or make up the voting base do not have the same level of concern and wishing for where they want to see Jamaica in a decade from now as you do.
Right. You know, and finally, I just want to say to my honorable doctor, Prime Minister, my friend, I see you now in India putting Jamaica on the top of the map. Continue with the good work, sir. You are doing an excellent job. And I must tell you, the third term is there waiting for you. Okay, then? And God bless you all.
All right, Bobby. Have a good evening.
All right. Thank you, Bobby.
As I said, listeners, we're taking your calls. The numbers are 630-937-124 and 618-8255. Ulrich, you're on the line, and I see Ricardo raising hell in the chat with them YouTubers. So why Ricardo couldn't just come into the studio for a couple of minutes and talk with us? I don't know why not. I gave him the invitation, and the man made a hasty retreat for the door.
Good evening, Siobhan.
Good evening, Ulrich.
Who is your co-host?
Sanjay.
Sanjay.
Hi, Sanjay, how you doing?
I'm good, Alaric. How are you?
Hello?
He's answering.
Yeah, we're hearing you, Alaric. I said I'm good.
Right.
I'm good.
Ricardo, I hear no, them a beg Ricardo to come chat with us, and Ricardo not do that, man. Let me give Keisha a shout out. She's always one who I love to listen to when she calls over the years. Because she's always constructive and really picks what she wants to say. So I give Keisha a shout out and wishing her a good weekend. I agree with Keisha and Siobhan, and I don't agree with what you said about the funding is not there. Like you're saying that there's not enough money to have the bathroom.
Well, I never said there's not enough money to have the bathroom fixed. I'm just saying
saying that there's so many.
Yes, there's so many issues that attends to the public purse that it is probably one of those things that tend to fall through the cracks.
Siobhan.
Yes.
This Minister of Finance has made it possible. I don't know how. There are certain things that we must do, and like bathrooms in the courts for the ladies must be priority.
I agree with you, and I'm thankful that this issue is being highlighted now.
Around doing other things. Mr. Chuck is supposed to make sure
that
all the bathrooms in the courts and the police stations across this country gets attention.
I agree with you, and what it sometimes takes is for these issues to be highlighted because, as I said, they don't normally attend to the public conscience, and as a result, the government tends to overlook them. But now that it is highlighted, I am certain more will be done to actually address the issue.
Siobhan and Sanjay, you can't overlook something like that. What happened to the maintenance supervisor?
Boy, it's so easy to overlook something sometimes, because you have so many people. You have so many people calling on the government to do X, Y, Z, L, B, M, and O, P, and what happens is that they just don't attend to some of these very easily solved problems.
I part company with you. I agree with you most of the time. This is one of the time I'm not going to agree with you.
All right.
All right. Secondly,
let me just add something. Let me just add something before you move to your second point. One of the things that Dr. Tufton highlighted is the lack of preventative maintenance that is within the health sector, for example. And I suspect it's the same. Exactly. And I suspect it's the same problem in maybe the court system. Government have to ensure that they have proper preventative maintenance in place to prevent these problems from happening. So I'm happy that Dr. Tufton identified that problem and indicated that they're putting in measures in place to do the preventative work. And I think that is something that needs to be done right across the board.
Well, Sanjay, I'm hoping that Mr. Chuck hears you and do the same, because if there's been a neglect over the years, it's time we try to correct them and so that these people can work in conditions that are conducive to the job that they have to do.
Yes.
Siobhan.
Yes, sir.
Captain's Baker white bread. You ever who raising something again? You ever get a piece of Captain's Baker white bread, HOT, and you just put some butter in between?
Yes. That was well back in the day, though. I'm talking when I was like 12, 13.
No, man. Even when me a big man and then they are man, every man. Me love go inside and get it when it's hot. And if it's hot, and Siobhan, from a reason that if me a driver, me not a taxi, and from me going there, me not no knife. When it hot, me a broke the hen. But me come off of the white bread now and I see I eat whole wheat. But me miss my Captain's Bakery hard do it.
I agree with you, sir. I agree with you. But I hear some people. I see some people in the chat say we should just swear off bread full stop. Just bad for you.
Captain's Bakery bread, Siobhan. That was the hard bread. Right, so me join you with that one.
All right.
Enjoy the weekend, guys. As usual, very good.
Yeah, man.
Show very big nation. Right?
I see people. I see people in the chat suggesting that I am trying to make excuses for the government. I am not, What I am saying is we Jamaicans are so laser focused on a lot of things that these small, easily attendable issues tend to be forgotten. And I am so grateful that it is now being highlighted to the point that it cannot be ignored. I am happy for it because I don't think it takes any big bucks or big millions of dollars to renovate a bathroom in the courthouse. It doesn't. But the simple fact of the matter is that we have not been paying attention to it.
But here's the challenge. We renovate the bathroom and then we allow for it to deteriorate.
To fall into disrepair again.
Maintenance is, the preventative maintenance is so important. And that is something that priority must be placed from the court management aspect of it, because the government can do that to repair and give them a brand new bathroom, but they also have to ensure from their end that they're doing the preventative maintenance, which is important.
Precisely. Cleveland, evening.
Yes, sir. Good evening, boy. Last night was a night. I wait right up to the end of the thing. I felt sin go back, get credit, the whole hand. Anyhow, my bread really based on where I live here, national and purity, but I tend to prefer the national.
So you prefer the national over the purity?
And I think the purity a little bit too soft. You know?
No, but I kind of like, I don't like when the hard dough bread's so tough, you know, that you have to chew it. I like it to be a little soft, you know, that when you put it in your mouth, it kind of melt.
But the national gives you that. I know what you mean. I know what you mean, Cleveland. And the national bread, the giant bread, gives you that midpoint. It's not too soft, right?
Yeah.
But it's not hard either.
No. And then I have a teenage grandson. And you know what that means. I operate every day.
That used to be me. The bread couldn't last in the house, you know. That's why I never would have to freeze it. Because that bread not going to last to the point where it needs to be any kind of preservative in it.
Well, let me tell you what my thinking about this. You know that you can, if you have a criminal record, you can't get a government job. And not even only a government job, but job on a whole.
No, I know I'm not into this whole thing where criminals should be barred from having decent work, you know, Cleveland. I don't want to go down that route, you know. As I said yesterday,
but I'm just saying it because it's going to take on a new thing now, these days. What's happening is my friend going to East Portland, look for some different thing. People who are doing scamming on empty, you watch them. They're going to be in election. Soon and very soon. You see, and that is why you have to be careful of what you're doing from early days because it can, you know,
I hear you,
a hand in where the country won't be able to live with. Because then some of the people who I see gathering around leaders and so in this country, it should never be happening. We have too much indisciplined people in this country, you know. And when they see these things happening, what do you think going to happen?
I hear you.
It's like these indisciplined people are being encouraged.
Well, as I said to Bobby, you know, the problem is those indisciplined people vote in droves. Whereas many of the well-thinking Jamaicans, they stay at home.
They stay away.
And stay away from the politics. And what is the end result?
Our people have to watch and understand what is taking place because, trust me, some of these youngsters, they just want do anything, you know, to say nothing. Right? And them see other people getting off of things and believe that's it.
I don't know if it's the influence from overseas, but I still think there's a growing permissiveness in society where things that would have been beyond the pale years ago are just run of the mill now, and you feel like you're the one who is crazy because you're not willing to accept them.
Yes, that's so true, Siobhan. It's true.
It goes back to family values, though, you know, Cleveland and Siobhan.
Yes, well, and again.
I think that, because some of the things that, you know, when I was young and my parents instilled, now people don't see it as important.
No.
And that is the problem. We need to fix that. We have to fix that. And we can't point the finger at government to say government need to fix that issue. Because what we have happening now is that those individuals, they leave the household, they go to high school, and we're trying to get the high schools to fix a problem that should have been fixed from a very early age within the family.
Agreed.
You see, and the high school alone can't fix the problem.
Oh, no.
Coming from out the home.
Because the high school schools were not designed to fix those problems, you know. The home is the primary area of that kind of socialization. It was never designed to be something that should be offset to the schools.
I don't know, but I don't think it's a good thing happening at all. And I just wish my country all the best.
Right there with you. Right there with you.
All right. Take care of yourself.
Take care.
Yep. Siobhan, you raised a good point, you know, in terms of the voting, because I just look back at our the voter turnout in the last election, and when you have 37% of Jamaicans coming out to vote, that's a whole 63% that decided to stay home, you know. Well, I tell you.
The majority of well-thinking, reasonable Jamaicans need to reintegrate themselves back into the voting process. That is the only way the country is going to move forward, because what you end up in is a situation where the voters inform the politicians and the politicians who want to be re-elected are informed by the voters. It's as simple as that. It is a never-ending cycle. But anyways, Carl, good evening.
Siobhan, evening to you. Your next host, evening. Siobhan, thank you very much
Hello,
for last
Carl.
night. Just stand up. Two nights on straight. I don't know what's wrong with Omalo.
I'm coming to understand Omalo has his view, and that is fine. He has his opinion, I have mine. Everybody have their opinion.
The night before Omalo acquired about $20,000, which this government can find to give back.
Speaking of it, you put through your application yet? But then again, that is me assuming that you're earning little money, you know. Your money probably really big though, Carl.
Hello.
Carla earned big money.
Anyhow, I want to say something to you and ask you a question.
All right.
If all of this, you notice how the human rights them are very quiet in all of what is happening? Nobody hear nothing from them. Well, I want to ask my government, led by Dr. Andrew Michael Holness, that Mr. George Wright must find back his face back into the Jamaica Labour Party before.
That is where I break with you, Carl. I don't want to see George Wright back in my parliament. You're not going to have me supporting that, Carl. I'm sorry.
Hold on, but stop to listen what I have.
All right. Go ahead, Carl.
Okay. Mr. Wright did have a mishap with his wife that he called baby. And that passed and gone. There's another member of parliament is now sitting inside of the house. That his wife did have to run out of the house on the farm road naked as the day she born. And him is there sitting inside the house. And 3/4 of Jamaica know about him. And if we should have a change of government, maybe he will turn minister.
Well, Carl, I believe abuse of women in any shape or form should be an offense that keeps you, just as I did think of, I don't care if you're saying you're rehabilitated, there's some things that to me are beyond the pale that should keep you from being a representative of the people.
But if them can take up a man we go to 2 different countries and get in contact with the law and went to prison, and people want to come now and defend that not once him serving time, all those type of rubbish me are here. All those type of garbage me are here now. Once he's serving time, in fit to go back.
No,
so suppose, let me ask you something, Chef.
Yes, Carl.
If there's a bill inside the parliament, a debate over drugs, and it have a deadlock, because him should have, if although we know saying can't win and marry bars, that's a waste of time. Wasting his time in Portland. But there is a deadlock inside the parliament. Him couldn't vote for that bill.
Well, he would have the right if he's an MP to vote on the bill, one way or the other, Carl.
Oh,
but I see where you're going.
Like how you say
I see where you're going, Carl, and I would agree with you that that is one of my concerns.
Go ahead, me hear what you have to
No,
say.
I said, if he is so elected, it would be his right to so vote on any such bill. But I see where you're going, because that is also one of my concerns in terms of when I talk about the moral authority, when I require the people in my parliament to be exemplars of society, not just any and all.
Okay, thank you very much. I think about it before I ask you the question. How would him vote on that bill? Would him abstain?
But as Sanjay suggested, he's a rehabilitated man, so one would expect that he would vote in favor of such a bill.
Sanjay is saying. That is
no, Carl. Because I want to again make the distinction.
But no. but finish your point, Siobhan, and then I'll come.
No, I want to again make the distinction. I am not suggesting that Mr. Buchanan or anyone who has had a criminal conviction who has been properly rehabilitated should be made pariahs in society. I think they should be allowed to carry on their lives, live normal lives, and to so be functional members of society. But I do believe that there are areas where a criminal conviction of such a serious nature, rehabilitation or not, should prevent you from entering. That is it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And it's time for us to start look what is taking place in our beautiful little country. And if this man that the PMP put out of Portland to represent, why a man will go to prison where did find with 2 illegal guns or some gunshots? Why he not go represent politics though? Tell me, give me a reason.
I once again I bring up my moral objection because there's no legal one. I bring up my moral objection.
All right. Anyhow, before we, I heard Golden said Tuesday inside the Parliament that if he did get free, put in the bill that he need take to see if he could have carried on the Prime Minister. Then after that, he will have to go to the Governor General to dissolve Parliament and call a new election. He must top list.
No, but even if he brought that vote of no confidence, he wouldn't go anywhere because the vast majority of MPs would have voted no anyway. He wouldn't even get to the Governor General.
Going anywhere or not going anywhere, he mislead the people right here. Because if you have 49 to 14, so that are rubbish, that are foolish, that going to try to mislead the people of the country.
All right, Carl. Carl, I have to cut you now because Sanjay wanted to make a point, and we're at 7:58,
go ahead.
and we're going to have to wrap up soon. So I want to make sure Sanjay gets his say.
No, it's fine. We have to wrap up, but I just want to add this one thing though, Carl. If they had more persons there, let's say more opposition members were present than government members, then the motion could carry. But the point stands that clearly it wouldn't go anywhere because the majority is with the government unless all those government members decided not to turn up in Parliament and the motion carries. But if the motion is successful, then I think that would be the next step, that the Governor General would have to dissolve Parliament and call the election.
Precisely. But you can wrap up now, Sanjay, because we reached the end.
Well, that's the end of the show. Thank you as always to our listeners and those on YouTube and also to those who listen in Radio Land. A special thanks to our producer, Dana David, and the man Boogs, and also Cara Powell, our editor. My name is Sanjay Lewis. I want to wish you a wonderful weekend.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
We can light up your world